I want you and that young man to tie that knot. I'm gonna pray for you. And I want you to hold on to God's unchanging hand, because he helped Joshua fight the battle of Jericho.
It's the
Yes. He helped Daniel get out the lion's den. He helped Gilligan get off the island.
Let me get straight to the business. Got them lions in the building. Why you lying to the children? Why you lying to the children? RIGHTEOUS. Man, you know I've been the best. Man, they know no contest. Yahuwah, he do the best. We will not see you tomorrow. Cause you cannot go to thought. All the sons and all the daughters. Standing hard with big manodas. But my son, he made me Taurus. On that line, I'm still a Taurus. Karate kicking Chuck Norris, 4-5 on my waist. If he started, will not hesitate to get retarded. Oh lordy, he ain't got a PowerPoint, he forest. He running to the hills like a Philistine. G-Hawk hitting Hamites with the guillotine. Situation turned up with the ratchet team. JJ 7000 to the bait league. I know them haters gon' hate me, but he won't debate me. Pistol off safety. He respond, come wake me. If I don't get up, nigga shake me. If he don't show up, then he fake G. I touch down and make these nigga nuts hate me. Dear brother. Ballin' and crawling all the way from H-Time. Let me get straight to the business. Man, them lions in the building. Why you lying to them children? Why you lying to them children? You gon' cry, you gon' get it. Me, I'm like a frog, nigga, ribbit. Of course, it's in the spirit. I just got the Porsche, she can steer it. Mito got the raw, Shaq and Willie. Lamborghini doors, you better not spill it. Mama's high, say I'm more than just a villain. Mama's cry, I'm dope and wide for her children. Suicide, immortalized as the realest, yeah. Death by cut, black suicide. Let me get straight to the business. Got them lions in the building. Why you lying to them children? Why you lying to them children? RIGHTEOUS. Man, you know I be there. Man, they know they no contest. Yahuwah, he do the best. Wow, what's that? Why didn't take it over? Number one debate league, you heard me? When it's up, it's stuck. I'm stepping on everything, nigga. Metaphorically, of course.
And right back at you once again, putting it down for you and yours. This is another episode of the Lion's Den. The conversation continues, talking about what's on your mind. And we give honor to the Lord in Christ, from whom all positive thoughts flow. And we're your host. You got myself, Big Baby Hebrew, along with the Lioness, the seventh dancer, Lady Karima. JT Raw, like I said, he's on hiatus. He'll be back, but he's just going through some things, and we're gonna pray for the brother and everything else, as we all have to face, what we have to face in these trying times. But in the meantime, in between time, don't worry. You're gonna enjoy this flight that we're gonna take you on for the next couple of hours here on the Lion's Den. The segment titled "The Conversation Continues." So now, as always, when you tune into the Lion's Den, you are tuning into truthality, high-level truthality on this social media platform. Make no mistakes, okay? There are a lot of voices out there, but we bring heat like everyone else, okay? Truthality in its finest form, along with the fact that we bring the seven eyes. And you know that formula. That's intelligence, integrity, inspiration, and influence, along with independence, insight, and information, which all are the sums of the facts. We bring the facts as well. That's FACTS, frequently accurate, correct truths. And of course, when you roll with the lions, you're also rolling with the pride. That's PRIDE, because we what? Are dedicated permanently, ready, and destroying evil, starting with our own. All right? And of course, this is one of the many factions of the anti-coon movement. And what's a coon? A COON? A complete, obvious, obedient, yes, a boss, nigga. We don't do that here. No buck dancing, no bed winching, okay? No samboing, no cooning, period. It's just that simple. And of course, this is the home of point counterpoint. Sometimes we may not see eye to eye, so we might go into what they call point counterpoint, which is another way of saying debate. It keeps us healthy, it keeps us on our toes, all right? And it's all done in love. You know what I'm saying? And please understand this too, that from city to city and state to state without no follow-up bleep bloops or blunders, when you tune into the lion's den, you're going to find miracles and wonders, because you're going to be hit with Virgo energy. That's right. We're analytical, political, critical, but we strive never to be hypocritical. And also, be advised that when we put it down here, we come in the spirit of Isaiah 41:21. All right? Produce our cause. We're going to produce our cause from start to finish. All right? And also, 1 Thessalonians 5:21. We're going to be ready to what? Prove all things, but also added onto that menu because, see, we're in some trying times, some dark times, and there are a lot of things that's going on that, we look at certain things and we're trying to understand, why the Lord act the way he act, or why didn't he act how we think he should act or react. So we have to bring in Proverbs 3 verse 5. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart and lean not upon thine own understanding. All right? Sometimes not easy, but it's one of the ingredients we're going to be adding to this, how you say, incredible truth reality formula, the Lion's Den. And of course, we want to say to you all out there right now that if you're allergic to the truth, if you can't handle the facts, if you can't handle the causes that we're going to produce here tonight or any other time we are on, Karima and myself, we're going to give you our deepest sympathies and empathies because we're not going to compromise it for nobody. So you can do yourself a favor right now and skedaddle, okay? Move. Keep it moving. Break out. You won't be missed. And last but not least, the next formality we want to lay out to you, as put forth by another beautiful lioness and family member here, I Am Manna. When you come into the Lion's Den, be warned, beware. Wipe your feet, mind your manners, conduct yourself in an orderly manner, and enjoy yourself. Because I assure you, if you get out of pocket, you got a line in any way, shape, or form, the lioness will tear into you and kick you up out of here. And all I can do is stand by and watch. Because, see, I don't want none of that action when you come incorrect. As we are hospitable hosts, we expect you all to be hospitable guests. All right? And now, our in-flight menu tonight, we're going to be talking about Carl Epstein or Jay Epstein. I keep getting the names mixed up. But anyway, the Epstein files. All right, we're going to be talking about Donald Trump, the government shutdown, what's really going on with these Epstein files, because they're, passing all kinds of laws and legislation and all kinds of trickery, trying to keep those files closed. All right? a lot of pedophilia. We're going to be talking about a lot of that tonight as well, because we're going to be featuring videos Elijah Wood, Orlando Brown, Corey Feldman, Allison Mack. These are all actors and actresses who have been victims of pedophilia, or in the case of Allison Mack, you'll recognize who I'm talking about as we proceed tonight. She was involved allegedly in child trafficking. Wow. Also, we're going to be talking about the Black church, how it's failed us. We're going to be talking about Colin Kaepernick. The world's mad at Colin Kaepernick. Stand by on that one. Then we're going to be talking about the murder of Demetrius Moore, just like we had Trey Reed, who was found lynched and deceased at Delta University in Mississippi on the 14th of September, which was not, this story wasn't even reported. All right. Demetrius Moore, Pine Bluff, Arkansas, found dead, okay, in a shed. All right. And we're gonna go into that a little later. And of course, we're gonna talk about the unfortunate demise of Rania Lewis, 29-year-old Rania Lewis. And with that being said, the seventh answer is now giving me a clearance for takeoff. We're going to be taking off on runway 3 because we're going to be going in pure harmony tonight. And so with all that, with all the formalities now out the way, runway 3, we are lined up. Everybody buckle up, brace yourself as we're now taking off. And now, with all that out the way, we are now in the stratosphere. And what's on my mind right about now, let's talk about Jay Epstein. Let's talk about all this pedophilia and pervy behavior, real and imagined, alleged, I'm going to say, involved out here with possibly the president of these United States. Wow. And so many others. Okay. What's going on with, our government now trying to keep these files, the Epstein files, closed? The same Epstein files that the now deceased Charlie Kirk was talking about, he felt should be open at all costs. And then he kept on pressing that issue and he wound up dead. Yeah. There's a lot of question marks regarding those files. But see, listen. Please understand that long before Jay Epstein, this whole child pedophilia has been going on long before that man was ever born. We can go back to the days of Shirley Temple, and so many other child stars of yesterday who talked about some real evil things that were done to them in their time and what they experienced. Okay? Long before there was Elijah Wood, Orlando Brown, Corey Feldman, there was, again, a lot of child stars of yesterday who brought forth a lot of things that happened to them. And we're going to delve into that tonight as well, all right? You have the Disney kids, Annette Funicello, going from the days of way back, and we're going to talk about what happened to Shia LaBeouf. We've talked about Amanda Bynes. We're talking about, again, Orlando Brown, Raven Simone, and so many other, Britney Spears. Oh, the list goes on and on of all the Disney kids who turned out real jacked up later on in life. See, our job here, right, is not to sensationalize, nor is it to sit up here and look for celebrity. We're talking about real life issues that as they should be talked about in plain language and in straight up plain revelation. I myself, I was victimized as a child. is I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. The psychological trauma, it never goes away. All right? It's bad enough to have adults get violated, in a sexual manner, but to put that kind of trauma on a child is even worse. What kind of mind must you have that here you are, a grown man or woman, and you forcing yourself on a child? He or she doesn't have the intellectual and spiritual maturity to understand what's being done to them. So, as far as I'm concerned, minds like that, people like that, once they caught, put them to sleep. Put them to sleep immediately. I can understand, the laws of God, because some people feel that, oh, well, the Old Testament, when it comes to God, he's so draconian. No, but I understand why he put the death penalty in play for certain behaviors when a person's caught. Man, a grown-ass man or woman, you appear molesting a baby, a child, man, you got to go. There is no reforming you. You're done. You are sick. And that needs to be nipped in the bud. Again, immediately, not immediately, immediately. So we're going to delve into all that, all right? Because again, there's a lot of what is with all the stonewalling? What names are found in these files? The whole issue with the Epstein Island. We heard Cat Williams, when he gave his brutal, scathing, unmerciful interview about a year ago on Shannon Sharp, Club Shay Shay. Oh, you heard the names he named and he rattled off. Then, the tormented Orlando Brown. The actor we grew up with watching from That's So Raven on Family Matters, he was 3J. And of course, for me, he's always going to be the cute little boy, from Major Payne. And this poor child, this poor young man has seen things that a child should not have been seeing. And so I know his pain. All right. And when I think back on Corey Feldman, but then again, you had actor Todd Bridges sounding the alarm about pedophilia and what he experienced and why he went the route he went. And it makes you wonder about these parents. All right. Because understand, in order for the Epstein files to exist and for him to have had the names that he had, is alleged to have had, well, we have to look at the parents of some of these children. When you think on Lindsay Lohan, another Disney victim, oh man, come on, man. Macaulay Culkin, all right, who, Home Alone, he played little Kevin, and what he talked about. Look, man, there are some very demented ass people in Hollywood, and not only Hollywood, but in the political world and other circles. And like I said, what kind of mind must you have to be so depraved and decadent? All right? And deranged for you to want to engage in graping a child. I know you got to be very careful. Here it is, you can't use certain words, although their acts are real. Even right now, I'm having a hard time containing my emotions, considering what as I'm triggered over here, thinking about, my experience. And here I gotta talk about all these young people who have become maladjusted in their adulthood. But yet, Donald Trump, your president, is doing, like I said, he's doing a lot of stonewalling. There's a lot of question marks. Okay, and here it is. We're gonna go into the videos in a hot second, but again, he's not acting like someone who is innocent. He's coming off quite guilty, and I'm sure he's not alone in this. Because then again, let's go back a few years when you had actor Kevin Spacey, Sylvester Stallone, question marks about him. Charlie Sheen, who late actor Corey Haim said that this guy, actor Charlie Sheen, allegedly yanked him up behind his dressing room and had his way with him. If you don't know who Corey Haim is, he was, a well-known child actor, movies like Silver Bullet, The Lost Boys, just to name two, all right, that he starred in. I mean, this is like bad. And it's not, and this, though we talk about Jay Epstein, even in regular life, the Catholic Church, let's look at the Catholic Church. The thousands of boys, in particular, who have been raped and sodomized by so-called priests, but more like beasts. This is just going on in all facets of life. And I have to say, here it is now. What kind of mind must you have when you have judges, people who judge you, criminal judges and all aspects of law, judges, lawyers, doctors, professionals, so-called, who are being caught with kiddie porn. What was this dude's name? He was well renowned for the Subway commercial some years ago. Jared Leto, I think it is. Jared, whatever his last name, I forget. But you know what I'm talking about. Look how so many years ago he got caught with kiddie porn stash. Yeah, puts a whole new spin on Subway Eat Fresh. Wow. So, as I sit up here on the seventh answer, we were talking about it this earlier on today. We have inherited a horrible world. Sure, we are taught to think positive and keep a chipper dipper upbeat outlook, but it's hard to do that when all this dark side energy is going on around you. And it's not about being a negative Nicholas or whatever. It's just about, look, as the Bible said, there are time for all things. And right about now, this is not a time to be smiling, joking, having a good time, partying, as long as the foot's not in your behind. No, you got to pay attention to what's going on around you. And we must take up the mantle of some serious action and protection, because we have future generations depending on us. All right, it's not enough. It's not enough, all right, to just stand by and see things. Now it's about action. Maybe I'm hoping that someone out there who listens to this broadcast may be a child advocate, may be inspired to get up off their duff and really get out here and put the pedal to the metal to come up with a solution and save our babies, man, and save our children. Because again, I have to ask, I don't mean to be repetitive, but I'm just trying to understand, what kind of mind must you have when you take advantage of a child? Like you sick, man. Ain't no you got, like I said, I have to be careful because I don't want to be, brought up on any acts of promoting violence. But, oh man, like I said, so seventh answer, let's get this party started. And let's drop some of these videos that we have going on. And we're going to analyze them piece by piece. All right. And we're going to put out there fair use, Shaw, fair use. This is for analytical purposes and just trying to draw out the truth and draw out, hopefully, someone out there who can fight for us. Okay. The good Lord sees all things. He'll act on it when he's ready to act on it. But in the meantime, in between time, we're going to act on it by talking about it. We're not going to let you forget about it. And the Donald Trump and all y'all out there in the United States government, in all aspects, that's watching this show, because we know you watching. We, like Inspector Gadget, are always on duty. And we are not going to turn a blind eye and be distracted with your hocus pocus, abracadabra, foolishness on this side. No, we're going to stay focused right on you and what you all are doing out there in D.C. Because apparently, maybe you are in the onset of Alzheimer's, President Trump, or maybe you are under duress, okay, considering the attempts on your life, and you rolled over for the true President Bill Gates and Vice President Elon Musk. But anyway, Don, this is for you. No, we're not dedicating the show to you, but I'm saying the finger and the eye is now on you. So, seventh answer, take it away.
Let's stop attacking pedophiles. Senator Booker also said we should have bipartisan agreement. I think that's a great idea. We should have bipartisan agreement. How about we all come together and say, let's stop murders? How about we all come together and say, let's stop rape? How about we all come together and say, let's stop attacking pedophiles? I want you to stop attacking.
The United States is Hitler. I'm talking about smoky eyes.
The American media totally ignored this stuff until Donald Trump and I started talking about cat memes. If I have to, create stories so that the American media actually pays attention to the suffering of the American people, then that's what I'm going to do, Dana, because you guys are completely letting Kamala Harris coast. Yeah. The American media totally ignored this.
So, Mr. Trump, I take it you are not going to answer any questions about your preparation today with your.
According to victims who cooperated with the FBI in that investigation, these documents in FBI possession, your possession, detail at least 20 men, including Mr. Jess Staley, CEO of Barclays Bank, who Jeffrey Epstein trafficked victims to. That list also includes at least 19 other individuals, one Hollywood producer worth a few $100 million, one royal prince, one high-profile individual in the music industry, one very prominent banker, one high-profile government official, one high-profile former politician, one owner of a car company in Italy, one rock star, one magician, at least 6 billionaires, including a billionaire from Canada. According to victims who cooperated with the FBI in that investigation.
I'm not afraid to name names. And so if they want to give me a list, I will walk in that Capitol on the House floor and I'll say every damn name that abused these women. So this isn't one political party or the other. It's a culmination of everyone worked together to silence these women and protect Jeffrey Epstein and his cabal. The truth needs to come out, and the government holds the truth. The FBI, the DOJ, and the CIA holds the truth. This is the most important fight we can wage here in Congress, is fighting for innocent people that never receive justice. And the women behind me have never received justice. I'm not afraid to name names. And so if they want to give.
I am a real victim of Jeffrey Epstein. The reason you don't see me in the news is because I am a real victim. Real victims are not being represented by attorneys or in the media. I was trafficked to Jeffrey Epstein and Andrew Windsor by Deborah Palfrey, the DC madam. I was a student at the Catholic University of America in Washington, DC in 2002. I answered an ad in the city paper. The ad was ambiguous. Deborah was professional. I thought I was going on a real job interview. Instead, I was drugged and raped by Paul Hung. I tried to tell Deborah what happened, but something she said made me realize she knew what happened. At that point, they had my driver's license, and I did not know what to do. I am a real victim of Jeffrey Epstein.
The estranged wife of Robert Kennedy Jr., Mary Richardson, was found hanging in her.
By December of 2010, you went to stay with him at his New York mansion. Why? Why were you staying with a convicted sex offender?
Right. Now, I went there with the sole purpose of saying to him that because he had been convicted, it was inappropriate for us to be seen together. I felt that doing it over the telephone was the chicken's way of doing it. I had to go and see him and talk to him. We decided that we would part company, and I left, I think it was the next day.
That was December of 2010.
Yep.
He threw a party to celebrate his release, and you were invited as the guest of honor.
Oh, in 2010, there certainly wasn't a party to celebrate his release in December, because it was a small dinner party. There were only 8 or 10 of us, I think, at the dinner. If there was a party, then I'd know nothing about that.
You were invited to that dinner as a guest of honor.
Well, I was there, so there was a dinner. I don't think it was quite as you might put it, but yeah, okay. I was there at a dinner. Yeah.
I'm just trying to work this out, because you said you went to break up the relationship, and yet you stayed at that New York mansion several days. I'm wondering how long.
But I was doing a number of other things while I was there.
But you were staying at the house of a convicted sex offender.
It was definitely the wrong thing to do.
Because during that time, those few days, witnesses say they saw many young girls coming and going at the time. There is video footage of Epstein accompanied by young girls. And you were there staying in his house, catching up with friends. Another guest was John Brockman, the literary agent. Now, he described seeing you there getting a foot massage from a young Russian woman. Did that happen?
No.
Epstein's house?
No.
It might seem a funny way to break off a friendship, a house party of sorts with a dinner. It's an odd way to break up a friendship.
It's a difficult way of putting it. Yes, you're absolutely right. But actually, the truth of it is that I actually only saw him.
Stop the video. Stop, please. please. Now, thus far, you all, if you're just not tuning in, what we're looking at are different clips. We had Senator Ted Cruz, we saw House Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, and now we're listening to Prince Andrew lie his Abakatutski. I'm gonna watch my mouth. I don't want to cuss. His Abakatutski off talking about, he's getting a foot massage. Talking about he wasn't getting. Yes, you were, Prince Andrew. If you saw all kinds of irregularity involving children being, used and abused, misused and abused, you should have been the main one using your statesmanship to stop it. Calling the police or whatever authorities need to be called and exposing them. Oh, it was wrong for me to do. I know I shouldn't have been there, but you didn't leave. And you didn't tell anyone, Prince Andrew. And then, I want to make sure, I hope I'm not getting Ted Cruz taken out of context about we should stop going at the pedophiles. I hope he was just being sarcastic. Okay, but this Prince Andrew.
Serious, because he wants them to stop worried about the fouls. So no, you ain't taking nothing out of content.
Okay, so Seventh, he was dead serious, Seventh Dance? Are you serious? Wow. Yo.
Yeah, murderers and all that, like, for real, he's serious.
Okay, damn. All right, so which means he probably done picked the child apart somewhere in the line then. If he had the audacity to say something like that out loud, like, yo. And ladies and gentlemen, this is why we do what we do here. This is why, see, mainstream media, they won't go as hard because they're owned in the back pocket of all these rich oligarchs and tyrants out here, but no one owns us. So we don't have no sponsors breathing down our backs, telling us what we can and cannot say. Our sponsor is the good Lord Almighty and everything else, and we're going to follow his instructions to say what needs to be said and how it should be said. And that's straight up with no chaser. All right? For real. Run this video, Kareem. Let me just try to get through this thing without getting emotional.
The dinner party, the walk in the park, and probably passing in the passage. Could easily have gone and stayed somewhere else, but sheer convenience of being able to get a hold of the man was. I mean, he was in and out all over the place. So getting him in one place for a period of time to actually have a long enough conversation to say, look, these are the reasons why I'm not going to. And that happened on the walk.
One of Epstein's accusers, Virginia Roberts, has made allegations against you. She says she met you in 2001. She says she dined with you, danced with you at Tramp nightclub in London. She went on to have sex with you in a house in Belgravia belonging to Ghislaine Maxwell, your friend. Your response?
I have no recollection of ever meeting this lady. None whatsoever.
You don't remember meeting her?
No.
She was very specific about that night. She described dancing with you and you profusely sweating, and that she went on to have possibly.
There's a slight problem with the sweating because I have a peculiar medical condition, which is that I don't sweat, or I didn't sweat at the time.
She was very specific. She described the dance that you had together in Tramp. She described meeting you.
Wait, stop.
She was a 17-year-old girl.
Okay, did any of y'all catch how this fool, I think he just told on himself? I didn't sweat at the time. What do you mean? First, he doesn't recall meeting her. Now he has amnesia. But then he says midway, That's not possible because I don't recall sweating at that time. Which one is it, Prince Andrew? Man, just keep going, Karima. Just keep going.
Meeting a senior member of the royal family.
Never happened.
She provided a photo of the two of you together.
Yes.
Your arm was around her waist.
Yes.
You've seen the photo.
I've seen the photograph.
How do you explain that?
I can't. Because I have absolutely no memory of that photograph ever being taken.
Do you recognize yourself in the photo?
Yeah, it's pretty difficult not to recognize yourself. That's me, but whether that's my hand or whether that's the position, I have simply no recollection. I take very, very few photographs. I am not one to, as it were, hug, and public displays of affection are not something that I do. The photograph is taken upstairs, and I don't think I ever went upstairs in Ghislaine's house.
You're sure of that? Because she said in a legal deposition, a legal court document in 2015, she had sex with you 3 times. Yeah. She is not confused about this. She said the first was in London when she was trafficked to you. The second was at Epstein's mansion in New York. There was a witness there, Johanna Stolberg, who says that you did visit the house in that month.
I probably did.
Stop.
Oh my God, yo! Because of the
okay, he's lying. Now, Iron Manna, I see you're asking. You ask a very powerful question. I'm going to come to you. Give me about another couple of minutes before we always come into the first hour. We always come to the chat section. I see your questions and your comments. Welcome, Iron Man. Welcome, Marquise, and all y'all out there. Yo, listen, you know what? See, what this young lady should have done, like what I did. When I got attacked, I named specific markings on my attacker. The bastard couldn't lie. He couldn't say I was lying because I knew specific areas of his body, certain markings and everything. His own mama, when she started, you know what? And I'm going to tell you right now, I felt more sorry for his mother than myself, the way she wailed and the way she cried. As she realized that not only was her baby out here victimizing young boys, but he also was a victim, as I would learn. But my point is, what this young lady should have done was name specific markings on Prince Andrew's stuttering, and how you say, Marquise? Vampire looking behind. And in that way, if she told a reporter this and she hit him with that, we could really see him face plant. See, that's oh, yo, forgive me, y'all. I'm over here. Like I said, I'm going through it right now, trying to get through this thing. But that's what she should have done. Name a specific marking on his body that nobody would know except God, his mama, and someone he attacked. Run the tape, Karima.
What I was doing, I was staying with the Consul General, which is further down the street. So I wasn't staying there. I may have visited.
Because in a legal deposition, 2015, she said she had sex with you 3 times. Once in a London house when she was trafficked to you in Maxwell's house.
Yes.
Once in New York a month or so later at Epstein's mansion, and once on his private island in a group of 7 or 8 other girls.
No.
She spoke about you outside the court in August of this year.
Mm-hmm.
She said, I quote, "He knows exactly what he's done, and I hope he comes clean about it."
And the answer is nothing.
By December of 2010, you went to stay with him at his New York mansion. Why? Why were you
All right, stop, Corona. Stop.
staying convicted
Stop.
sex
I
offender?
don't want to work your nerve,
Now, I
but
went
I gotta.
there with the
I'm,
sole
Miss Britt, I'm catching things. Okay. Now, take notice. Take note, y'all. He's saying no. He's saying it never happened. But now, take note that what he's not saying is this here. Not only am I innocent, and not only did this not happen, I have now taken the liberty. I'm going to use a fake accent. Taking the liberty to file a lawsuit against her for defamation of character, libel, and slander. And I've also sought an injunction. He's not saying any of that, which would really, really show that he's innocent. Because see, when someone is attacking your name to the level this reporter is coming with, and he's not saying those key words, lawsuit, defamation of character, libel, slander, all the things that would prove you innocent. Because understand, she's coming for his name not only private, but publicly. His name is a brand, but he's not saying any of that. See, listening is key in this thing. All right? I tell you, man, wow. Just wow. Go ahead, Kramer, run it.
She spoke about you outside the court in August of this year.
Mm-hmm.
She said, I quote, "He knows exactly what he's done, and I hope he comes clean about it."
And the answer is nothing.
By December of 2010.
Jay Snake the Great, I see you in the house. I see you in the building. What's going on? And while we're waiting for Kareem to get the next video up, welcome you all to the Lion's Den. Tonight's title is A Clockwork Derangement. And there's a lot of deranged and evil people out here, and around the clock we're working to bring all this to you out there in Lion's Den land. Because you know what? This needs to be stomped and just put to rest. And you know what, Iron Man? Again, while she's queuing up the video, let me read what Iron. She asks a very powerful question. Iron Man says, we have to proceed by knowing everybody is an attacker or a victim in entertainment. It makes it hard to watch a movie or listen to music. Are we complicit with subscription tickets? Well, Iron Man, this is the thing, sis. If we don't know specifically who's doing it, all right? If we don't know, then, I would say we're not complicit, all right? Because we don't know who is doing it. Now, let's say if there is obvious evidence, hardcore evidence, like I'll never watch a movie and starring Kevin Spacey out again. See, I won't listen or watch any movies involving Charlie Sheen again. I won't pick, let's say, on the black hand side, let's say anything involving R. Kelly. I can't listen to it in good faith. Not anymore, knowing what he did. All right? When it comes now to Sean Combs, Diddy, Puffy, and Brother Love, and all his other aliases. I could never listen to anything Bad Boy related consciously again. But now, if you don't know who's who, if there's no specifics, Iron Man, I would have to say, no, we're not complicit because we're not supporting someone who has been proven and shown to be a pedo. But now, if someone names names on a person and then we go behind and still support them, then that makes you complicit. I would say, respectfully. All right, but nah, we're not complicit if we don't know for sure who's who. Okay. Otherwise, we just need to that would mean just shut down the entire entertainment field. But when I look at now, speaking of Sean Combs, right? The fact he was found guilty, but let's not forget, I wonder what names and what tapes he has still in his possession, because during the whole time he'd been on trial, it didn't escape my attention that the CEO of Nike, Adidas, and a few other well-known companies all started retiring left, right, and center. Okay? Right after he got busted, and then we know he has tapes and names, dates and times too. That's why he's going to prison. They're trying to hit him hard. Okay? So I'll sum it up by saying, Iron Man, your question is very good, but I'll say this here: if we don't know specifically who's who, then we're not guilty of anything if we buy a ticket here and there, all right, and we cease and we entertain ourselves, as far as watching a film or a movie. I hope that answers your question. And so let's move on. Let's go to work, Karima.
So this was the victim. She's no longer here. After paying her off.
Wait, hold up. When you say she's no longer here, you mean to tell me she's deleted?
Yeah, she's deleted.
Oh, wow.
And he did pay her off after he claimed he didn't know nothing, but he did pay her off. But she got into a car accident and mysteriously passed. But let's carry on.
Get that shit. Get on the ground.
If you're watching this, it means they got me. My dead man switch activated automatically after I missed 2 scheduled check-ins. I had it set up months ago because I knew this day was coming. I did not die by accident. I was murdered to keep their secrets buried. My name is Virginia Louise Giuffre. I was one of Jeffrey Epstein's victims. I survived Little St. James, but survival came at a price. I saw too much, knew too much, and now they've silenced me. But it's too late for them. They thought killing me would bury their secrets, but this video is going to a few organizations I trust, ones that have been exposing the truth for decades. You know who you are. It's your job to continue this fight. I was 16 when they reeled me in. I worked at Mar-a-Lago, folding towels, cleaning lockers. My father kept the tennis courts immaculate. We were just working folks trying to scrape by. Trump, he was around, but he was never the threat. The real predator was Ghislaine Maxwell, prim and proper, smiling, promising to teach me massage therapy at the Pink Mansion in Palm Beach. I had no idea I was being fed into a nightmare machine. Epstein's Island was hell disguised as paradise. You've heard some names linked to him, but those are just the sacrificial pawns. The real players, the ones they've protected at all costs, are still hiding in plain sight. I'll name 2 now. The first, a former US president, Barack Obama. Publicly, he's revered. Privately, he was one of the worst. He wasn't there for the girls. He was there for the island boys. Young boys, trafficked and groomed. I saw him more times than I can count, always without his Secret Service detail, sometimes with his Hollywood friends, George Clooney and Tom Hanks. I still have nightmares about them, arrogant and drunk on power, slinking into the cabanas with kids barely out of childhood. The second, Bill Gates, the billionaire philanthropist, loved by the media, hailed as a savior. We called him the benefactor, and we used to dread seeing him naked. But he didn't come to party. He came to experiment. Genetic experiments, human experiments. I saw him inject a young girl with something they said was a genetic enhancement. She was younger than me, strapped to a table, terrified, treated like a lab rat while they muttered about seeding the future of the species. These men think they are gods, playing with life like it was theirs to own. I'm telling you now, Epstein isn't dead. They staged his death because he was too valuable. He held blackmail on some of the most powerful people on earth. Files, videos, confessions. They couldn't risk him talking, but they also couldn't risk him gone, so they hid him. Stashed him under the protection of the same elite who once paid him to supply them with flesh. And they thought killing me would stop this from coming out. If you're watching this, it means they got me. My dead man switch.
Okay, hold up, Jay Snake. Respectfully, I don't call a 15 or 16-year-old an adult, okay? And also, Diddy,
I will not mention her name tonight or show the
okay.
video of the mention her name tonight or show the video of the interview that she did. So as
Kareem, hold on for a second. I was just talking. I was interacting with Jay Snake. Also,
yeah, I was trying to pause it. So sometimes
okay.
when I'm trying to pause it, just give it a second because when I come to the video, it automatically plays. So I try to pause
All right,
it.
my bad. Also, Jay, some of these women that Diddy was dealing with wasn't exactly grown beforehand. Okay, we only they when you listen to some of them testify or talk about them, they were dealing with that dude when they were underage. Cause see, let's not forget, he was a victim himself. All right. So some victim time of, unlike myself, I got therapy with the help I needed when I went through what I went through, because I don't desire to put that on nobody. This dude became a beast with it, vengeful, talking about Diddy that is. And he was out here a bigger monster than the monsters he's been associated with or who took advantage of him. Not all of them were grown women, okay? All right. And like I said, this young girl, she was 15, 16 years old when, Jeffrey Epstein's wife started grooming her. Just want to put that out there, Jay. You're entitled to your opinion, but I just want to add a little bit more context and flavor. Just something to consider. All right, go ahead, Kareem, drop it.
Diddy worked it for Epstein too. You feel what I'm saying? He was just basically bringing people in, and I guess he probably signed a contract or something going on where they really just, talking about him. But he was part of the whole little sex trafficking with them. Okay, let's keep it real. He was one of the lead players in bringing young women, especially African American women, to that island. You feel me? Just like other players, but they trying to make it seem like, you feel me, they don't want to talk about all the other players. They want to talk about the little ones. But he was a, pimp for them, going to get the children and the adults that was willing to do this type of stuff.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, he's heavily on the list, just like the rest of them.
not to subject her to that pain. She was asked, I will not mention her name tonight or show the video of the interview that she did so as not to subject her to that pain. She was asked, did Jeffrey Epstein rape you? She said, he raped me, forcefully raped me, and knew exactly what he was doing, and I don't think he cared. What hurts even more is that if I wasn't afraid to come forward sooner, then maybe he wouldn't have done it to other girls. I feel really guilty to this day. I feel really guilty. I will not mention her name tonight or show the
Watch Trump say he's in the Epstein files without saying he's in the Epstein files.
Those files were run by the worst scum on earth. They were run by Comey. They were run by Garland. They were run by Biden and all of the people that actually ran the government, including the auto pen.
But it continues.
I was running against somebody that ran the files. If they had something, they would have released. Now, they can easily put something in the files that's a phony, like as they can put things in the file that are fake. But those files were run by bad, sick people.
He just keeps going and going and going. And then somehow, while talking about the Epstein files, he manages to weave Kamala Harris into it.
Joe, and then he gave out because he was 25 points down. And then I got somebody new. Nobody even knew anything about it. She was a horrible vice president. She was a border czar, but she never went to the border. She never once called a border patrol agent to find out how we're doing. But she was the border czar. Her name was Kamala. Nobody knows her last name.
Trump is in the file. Watch Trump say he's in the Epstein files without saying he's in the Epstein files.
Why now? Why are you deciding to speak and to share your story now?
Because not everybody is getting justice, and that's not right. Just because you think that some victims in their mind got justice, that it's not right. The everyday person is out there, and that's me, and we're victims. You could be, your neighbor could be a victim, and you don't know it. The person you pass in a grocery store, and they're not talking. And I think that, like she said, power in numbers, even if I'm just counted as statistically in numbers as another victim, that's enough for me. They're not protecting our youth. They're continuing to allow the same thing that happened to us is happening still. Maybe not with, them, but it happens, and it's happening. So I took my time in saying something, and I've always been in contact with Jenna. I had a young daughter trying to start my career. It was a big shock to my husband. So I took the time, and I said when I felt like I was ready, it's not a secret. It's just something that I didn't normally talk about.
Yeah.
So now I'm ready to say, you know what? If I am the everyday Joe Schmo and I have this story, I know I want to be able to inspire other people to say, hey, me too. I mean, I don't want to say that me too, not trying to do that, but it happened to me too.
Why now? Why?
I had never had a sexual experience before. I was 19, and that was my introduction to any intimate experience. He handed me the money, $200, and that was it. He left. The maid came back a couple minutes later, and she let me out. I couldn't figure out what had just happened. I was so confused. What just happened? I called my mom, just bawling in tears. I said, you have to come get me now. You have to get me. I can't be here anymore. And I was home, but it didn't feel like home because I wasn't the same person anymore.
Jane testified that Maxwell quickly became like a big sister, taking her shopping and to the movies, later encouraging her to give Epstein lurid massages that ended in her sexual abuse. Jane testified that Maxwell quickly became like a big...
It's recently come out from one of Jeffrey Epstein's victims.
I have spent the last 17 years in my own prison for what she, Jeffrey, and all the co-conspirators did to me. I was raped repeatedly. I was raped 3 times a day sometimes. And I was not the only girl on that island. There was a constant stream of girls being raped over and over and over again. And yes, Ghislaine must die in prison because I've been in hell and back for the last 17 years.
27 for me.
I was 10 years old when Liz Stein was being trafficked. I was 10. That is how long the sex trafficking ring has been going on for.
It's recently come out from...
This is everything. The only solace for me is that when a group of people who've experienced trauma of this kind come together united against a common enemy, there's a very special bond between us all.
A painful bond shared among these 6 women sitting together for the first time for an exclusive interview with NBC News.
I find it very comforting to be here.
Marika Chartouni,
Don't this look a little the same like P. Diddy? How they had them on a stage, you feel me? And they all had this ain't no different. It's like black and white.
Yeah, I agree. Big time. Go ahead.
Ishka DeGiorgio and Rachel K. Benavidez sharing their stories about Epstein for the first time on television.
I think the nature of this kind of abuse means that you're conditioned to be silent, to be isolated, secretive, and shameful.
I feel like, it was a big game for him. And we were the pieces of his game. And you're like, I'm just not going to say anything because that's what he told me to do.
The women all have familiar stories of grooming, promises, and then sexual assault.
I can relate to pretty much every person sitting here next to me.
Virginia Roberts-Giuffre says Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell recruited her one summer when she was working as a locker room attendant at Mar-a-Lago. In her first broadcast interview, Virginia tells NBC News what she has previously alleged in court filings, that Epstein directed her to also have sex with a number of powerful men, among them Britain's Prince Andrew.
He was an abuser. He was a participant.
Virginia says she was 17 when this photo was taken with the prince in Maxwell's London townhome, next to the bathroom, where she says he sexually abused her.
What happened? The first time in London, I was so young. Ghislaine woke me up in the morning and said, "You're going to meet a prince today." I didn't know at that point that I was going to be trafficked to that prince. And then that night, Prince Andrew came to her house in London, and we went out to Club Tramp. Prince Andrew got me alcohol. It was in the VIP section. I'm pretty sure it was vodka. Prince Andrew was like, "Let's dance together." And I was like, okay. And we leave Club Tramp, and I hop in the car with Ghislaine and Jeffrey, and Ghislaine said, "He's coming back to the house, and I want you to do for him what you do for Epstein." I couldn't believe it.
Virginia says the abuse moved from the bathroom to a bedroom.
He wasn't rude or anything about it. He said, thank you, and some kind of soft sentiments like that, and left. I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that even royalty were involved.
She says Prince Andrew abused her 2 more times, once in New York in Epstein's mansion, and again at his Virgin Islands estate.
Prince Andrew, of course, denies that this ever happened. He denies that it ever happened, and he's going to keep denying that it ever happened. But he knows the truth, and I know the truth.
What do you say if people think this is about money for you, that you're trying to get money and have gotten money?
Well, unfortunately, there's this horrible law called statute of limitations. My lawyer said the way to get Ghislaine Maxwell held accountable, the way to get Jeffrey Epstein held accountable is through them saying I'm a liar, which I'm not. So it's called a defamation suit.
Like all others she's named, Prince Andrew has denied the allegations.
Stop, Karima, stop. Now, what did I say earlier, you all? What did you hear me say earlier on that Prince Andrew never sued this woman for libel, defamation of character, but now you heard what she just said. She said that she deliberately was waiting on them to call her a liar so she could go head on and press with a defamation lawsuit. Now, when they call her, that was a legal strategy, obviously, on her lawyers and representative part. So she filed a defamation suit against them when they call her a liar. So I see why she ain't here no more. She had them. Once they call her a liar, she filed suit. Now that would mean when she files suit, ladies and gentlemen, that all kinds of discovery evidence, forensic, you name it, would come into play, since she was accusing this man of doing what? Assaulting her, defiling her. So that means, yeah, now that go back to what I was saying earlier on. Hair sample, saliva, pictures of his body, all that. Okay, so she had him. And now we see why she's not here now. Okay, run the tape, Karima.
NBC News in a statement. It is emphatically denied that the Duke of York had any form of sexual contact or relationship with Virginia Roberts. Any claim to the contrary is false and without foundation. Maxwell has not been criminally charged and has repeatedly denied the accusations against her.
What does justice look like to you now? Justice now is holding accountable the perpetrators that helped him and participated with him, and encouraging more people to come forward so we can try to put this puzzle together and understand how it happened. How did this happen for so long? How did he get away with it?
These are questions many of these women have asked, especially now after Epstein's suicide in jail, awaiting trial on child sex trafficking and conspiracy charges.
I feel let down, that he was able to commit suicide. Yeah, it was really upsetting. They failed us before. Don't fail us again. Exactly. That's all we're asking. Take us serious. We matter. You matter. You matter, and you matter. And for all the girls out there, you all matter too.
Yes.
A message to other possible victims of Epstein still waiting in the shadows.
Jeffrey thought that we were disposable, and he threw us all away. And look who's still standing. This is everything. The only solace for me is that when...
Picture this, 4-year-old little girl, she don't play much. She don't smile, she don't laugh, she don't say much.
We don't care who's in the files, we are going after you. So if I had to sum up what happened today, we heard the stories of victims, and honestly, we heard the story of at least one person that has never come forward before today. This was the very first time that she was telling anyone in a semi-public way her story. And if I had to summarize the theme, I would say that their theme was to do something. It is probably the theme of the American people in general right now when it comes to government, is that they want us to do something. So
y'all, it is starting to go down. Let me catch you up. So the Democrats in the Congressional Oversight Committee are leading an effort to pretty much expose Donald Trump and the whole Jeffrey Epstein scandal, right? And in a shocking fucking vote, in an 8-2 vote, 3 Republicans sided with these Democrats to release these files. So, but what's happening is they're still kind of slow walking the release of these fucking files. Representative Ro Khanna said that of 300 gigabytes worth of files, the Congressional Oversight Committee has only received 1 fucking gigabyte. And of that 1 gigabyte, only 3% of that 1 gigabyte is new information, and 97% was already information in public domain. So it's clear that Republicans are like organizing this effort to kind of like hide whatever the fuck are in these files, and Democrats are exposing the fuck out of them. Stay tuned, you guys.
We don't.
Yeah, we're back. This is The Lion's Den, the segment titled The Conversation Continues. Right now, we're talking about Jeffrey Epstein. We're talking about Donald Trump. We're talking about the Epstein files and who and what is stonewalling, trying to keep these files closed at all costs. Our president seems to be in a little hot water, You know, and we see how Barack Obama was named. We had George Clooney being named. This is heavy.
Well, sort of. That's what she
Extremely
said I
heavy.
did.
Go ahead, Colonel.
That's what she said I did to her. She fainted with great emotion. She actually indicated that she loved it. Okay, she loved it until commercial break. In fact, I think she said it was sexy, didn't she? It was very sexy. Did she say that?
So, sir, I just want to confirm, it's your testimony that E. Jean Carroll said that she loved being on you?
Well, based on her interview with Anderson Cooper, well, sort of, that's what she...
What the fuck, bitch? What the fuck, bitch?
Did you all hear the big news that came out from the DOJ? Attorney General Pam Bondi and Deputy AG Todd Blanche are officially reaching out to Ghislaine Maxwell to see if she's willing to talk and potentially name names in connection with the Jeffrey Epstein case. Now, according to a new statement that was just released, this is happening under direct orders from President Trump, who told the DOJ and FBI to release all credible evidence and follow the truth wherever it leads. For the first time, prosecutors are preparing to meet Maxwell in prison to see if she has any information on uncharged third parties or unverified victims that were never part of the original Epstein files. Until now, no administration has approached her for cooperation. That changes now. Maxwell's lawyer has confirmed she's open to speaking truthfully, and if she does, this could blow the Epstein scandal wide open once again. The DOJ is saying they found no new evidence in a recent file review, but if Maxwell has names and didn't make up the list, it's about to get very real. Buckle up. This might finally be the reckoning we've been waiting for and promised for years. Appreciate it.
well, sort of, that's what she...
The latest reporting from the New York Times could help explain how Trump comes to factor into the Epstein files. The story involves a former Epstein employee who says she had a troubling encounter with Trump back in 1995. She says she told the FBI about it on 2 separate occasions, while also urging them to take a broader look at the people in Epstein's orbit. We should note that woman also told the Times she had no evidence of criminal wrongdoing by Epstein's associates, never saw Trump engage in inappropriate conduct with girls or women, and never had another alarming interaction with him. This incident that you write about being, was allegedly happened in 1995. Tell us more about it and what made this former employee go to the FBI in the first place.
So this woman was one of the, if probably not the first person to blow the whistle on Jeffrey Epstein back in the 90s, reporting him to the NYPD and later to the FBI. What this woman described to us was how in those interactions with the FBI in the 90s, and then again a decade later, she recounted to the authorities about an interaction she had with Trump, where Trump was in the room with her and Epstein. He kind of stood in front of her in an awkward way, and Epstein took him out of the room, and she overheard Trump saying that she looked like she was in her teens. There was nothing about that incident in and of itself that was criminal. The woman did say to the authorities that she wanted them to look into Epstein's ties to powerful men like Trump and Bill Clinton. But what we're trying to show in this story, in this anecdote, is how during a decades-long federal investigation in which many different witnesses are spoken to about a range of different things, investigators are going to soak up a lot of different information, a lot of different stories, a lot of different tips, a lot of different leads, a lot of different facts, not necessarily being criminality, but just different things that live in investigative files. It's those types of details that Trump's allies and supporters have really been after. They want to know everything there is to know about Jeffrey Epstein and his ties to powerful people. And in this story, this woman's account to the authorities is an example of that type of anecdote, that type of information information that is soaked up in a federal investigation. You have to remember, just a small portion of what investigators collect during any federal investigation, especially one that goes on over decades, is ultimately used in court and subjected to cross-examination and is presented, with the judge overseeing the whole proceeding. In the case of Epstein, there was no such, opportunity for a lot of this information to be aired, but there are lots of different pieces of information kicking around these files in the bowels of the Justice Department.
The latest reporting from the
Trump is on the Epstein list. Yes, he is. Trump is on the Epstein.
The Jeffrey Epstein case continues to be in the news because it is the biggest pedophile ring sex trafficking operation in U.S. history. And Donald Trump and Moses Mike Johnson and Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, they are covering it up. And something that is happening right now is the United States Supreme Court is considering whether to grant a writ of certiorari to Ghislaine Maxwell for her appeal based on the immunity agreement that Jeffrey Epstein filed and pled to when he pled to the bullshit deal with Alex Acosta in Florida in 2008. She was not listed specifically as immune in that agreement. However, she is now saying she should have been covered by that agreement. Now, normally, the U.S. Supreme Court, in normal times when they weren't shills for Trump, I would immediately say they would deny this appeal. But interestingly enough, they are meeting behind closed doors to discuss this appeal, which is fishy considering we know the sweetheart deal Donald Trump's administration gave Ghislaine Maxwell when they sent her to Club Fed, basically, to spend the rest of the 20 years that she was convicted of doing. And so one thing that we did find out over the weekend, not because the Justice Department released the files in accordance with a congressional subpoena, which they have not, they have continued to lie and obfuscate about these documents, but Jeffrey Epstein's brother, who is in charge of his estate, did release another batch of documents, and we were able to see those via the oversight Democrats. And what we see is a new document reveals from Epstein estate detailing his daily schedule. They show meetings with Steve Bannon, Peter Thiel, and a potential visit to Epstein Island for Elon Musk. Prince Andrew is listed as a passenger on Epstein's jet. So just a couple things about that. We have on May 27th, 2017, we see that Peter Thiel was having lunch with him. We also know that Jeffrey Epstein was a big investor of Peter Thiel. That surprises me zero because these men think that sick people, poor people should have less, and they dehumanize them, as you can see by Jeffrey Epstein's actions. And then Peter Thiel, who has all of our data, has made it very clear in videos that he believes the elite intellects should control the lower, not as smart, poorer people because they can't govern themselves and need to leave it with the smart people. And then, as a shock to no one, Steve Bannon is also on this list. They had breakfast. This really didn't surprise me that much. I mean, an old fart that, thinks he has power, political player. But interestingly enough, we have a reminder that says Elon Musk to Island, December 6th. Now, I grant you, it doesn't say Elon Musk was on Epstein Island. But what's interesting about that is the denial set forth by Elon Musk after this was reported. So Sky News and the BBC report Elon Musk and Prince Andrew named in latest Epstein files release. Okay, so Elon Musk responds, "Shame on Sky News for this utterly misleading headline. Anyone pushing this false narrative deserves complete contempt. Epstein tried to get me to go to his island, and I, all caps, refused. Yet they named me even before Prince Andrew, who did this." So what I thought was interesting about this is you have a guy that goes on and says, "I didn't go to Epstein's island. I refused." And I'm like, so clearly you were aware of what was going on in real time at Jeffrey Epstein's island because you just said in all caps, "I refused to go." So I think that's interesting because it's like, Elon Musk, did you contact the Justice Department? Did you contact the FBI? Did you do anything to make the girls that were being trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell anything to make them more safe? And of course, the answer is no, because again, all these super rich oligarchs think that poor people are less than, and it's easy to demean them and let them be sex trafficked. I mean, that's my opinion. We'll see if it comes out more. But I also thought the hubris of Elon Musk, if you might remember this summer, he posted, Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. Motherfucker, you're in the Epstein files. And I would say nobody that knew his name was in the Epstein files would talk about who else was in the Epstein files or releasing the Epstein files. And then I realized, oh no, that's right. Donald Trump made campaign promises for years about releasing the Epstein files when he knew damn good and well he was ass deep in those files, best friends. I mean, it's unbelievable that these men do not think that they should ever be accountable to anything. And then we have Mike Johnson. Again, Mike Johnson should swear in the new congressperson from Arizona. She was elected. She would be the 218th vote to release the Epstein files. Thomas Massey, who says, and he sends this to Mike Johnson, which I love. If Mike Johnson tries to use some parliamentarian procedure to stall the Epstein petition, Massey said it would require 218 votes. And this is what Massey says to Mike Johnson. And if you participate in that vote to sideline the discharge petition, now you're part of the cover-up. And I don't think anybody is more devoted to the cover-up than Mike Johnson, who shut down Congress early for the summer session, so he did not have to hear about the Epstein files, that the oversight committee could not get that information.
Stop.
Votes could not be taken about that because he knows.
When you get a chance, stop. Now, ladies and gentlemen, do you see what the real deal is on this government shutdown? That 218th person, if whoever he or she is, if they sign off on the petition to get the Epstein files open, then it's open season on any and everybody, Republican, Democrat, alike, whoever names are on that list. So this shutdown is to stonewall and stall that signature, that signing. I wouldn't be surprised if that 218th person, whoever they may be, winds up becoming suddenly deleted, deceased, or whatever, and they got to go through the process again. Like I said, it's a lot going on, but we see now what this is really about as far as the shutdown is concerned. Also, pay attention. I'm gonna keep hammering this home. Elon Musk, okay, he denies it, right? He denies and claims that the news agency used a misleading headline, blah, 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 blah. But again, take note. None of these guys are suing these people for defamation, libel, and slander. And let me tell you why why I keep hammering that home. When someone comes for you, your name is everything, okay? There's no getting around it. As the Bible tells you, biblically, a good name is to be desired above all riches on the earth. Why? Because your name sets your reputation. You ever heard that term? Your reputation precedes you. Meaning that the mere mention of your name, people already will know who you are before they actually meet you, or possibly know who you are before they meet you. Because your name and the way you get down in these streets or wherever you may be, someone may put it out there, put your name out there on the APB. Your reputation, what you're known for, and let's say if there are people who confirm it and it's proven, that's even, especially if you're doing things that are wrong, oh man, it's worse. So yeah, that's why I hammer home the issue of, notice they're not talking about suing these people, these agencies, for defamation and libel or slander, nor seeking a legal injunction. Now, a legal injunction, if you don't know what that means, it means That's a fancy way of telling somebody, hey, yo, shut the freak up and keep my name out your mouth. A legal injunction entails stopping someone, making them publicly apologize to you, all right, for trashing your name. You hit them not only with the legal injunction, but you hit them financially as well. None of these guys, they're denying, but they're not taking that necessary step. I want to keep hammering that home. All right, can we run the video?
Yeah, guilty by association. Nobody reporting it. They all know the guy, and I don't mess with him, and I ain't this, but they know they never reported it.
Exactly, Karima. That too. Here it is. You know someone is on some real foul and nasty, lascivious, dirty dog, rabbit dog crap. But none of y'all saying anything? You're not going to report it? Oh, wait. The no snitching rule, right? Anyway, run the video, Karima.
Not only is it Trump, but it's other donors in the Republican Party. And this whole time, they were making like it was a big Democrat thing. Well, all the Democrats have signed. Where are the Republicans? So something stinks to high heaven in that deal. And then we have Robert Garcia, who's been such a champion in this case, trying to reach transparency and justice for these women. But he had some things to say about the financial records, which I'm super interested to find out who was paying Jeffrey Epstein. How was money changing hands? So let's listen to Robert Garcia.
Revelation, I think, is interesting information and builds the broader case. We have essentially right now the single largest sex trafficking ring of the modern era that Jeffrey Epstein led with Ghislaine Maxwell. We also know, and I've said many times, why the president of the United States would be best friends, according to Epstein, for 10 to 15 years, knowing the horrors and the crimes that he was committing is an important question that we need to answer. And the powerful men that raped and abused women and girls, and in many cases, children, those women, those girls deserve justice. And so that's why we are out there putting the information out, in my opinion, pushing Comer and the oversight Republicans and forcing them to get these subpoenas out there. At the center of all this is going to be the financial documents. And so right now we are working to get all of the bank records, the financial documents, where the money went. That information is critical to our investigation. But putting out these documents is important to the public.
So there you have it. I hope at some point he gets this information and releases this information, because it has been reported in the press that there are hundreds of transactions, financial transactions between Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump. And I'm sure a slew of other people, all of whom should be exposed for committing crimes against children, and just the utter dehumanization of these girls that were victims when they were younger, and now doing it all over again because Trump's calling it a hoax after he stirred up the bullshit about it for years. So as soon as we hear from the Supreme Court, we will be back, get you updated on that. Please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and we will be back with more news.
Yes. You heard that right. Robert Maxwell, Ghislaine's father, was a textbook mogul whose company, Macmillan Inc., made a joint venture with McGraw-Hill, and this partnership made them the second biggest publisher of American textbooks in the late 80s and early 90s. In fact, you may have used one of his books to study in your class at school. And while it is not official that he was working for Israel or Mossad, he was a British citizen that was given a lavish funeral in a historic Israeli cemetery that was reportedly attended by the Israeli president, top Israeli intelligence officials, and the eulogy was given by their prime minister, who said that Maxwell was almost a mythological figure. Yeah, it sounds like it. So it seems that at least one thing Epstein and Maxwell had in common was having frequent contact with Israeli prime ministers. But more on that later in this episode.
He had stolen all kinds of crazy money, and then he just fell off his boat and died. And all the money went missing. No one ever found it. I've heard some interesting theories about how Epstein seems to have turned up with a very similar amount of money, basically that same year.
And what happened is there was a cover-up. Epstein got a slap on the wrist. There was no one who talked to the survivors. And a lot of other rich and powerful men who he farmed out underage girls to basically have not been held accountable. Thomas Massey and I, Republican, Democrat, have said release the file. And we called the survivors to the steps of the Capitol. For 10 years, no one had heard them. They started telling their stories. They broke down in tears.
But I wasn't the only one. None of us were.
Well, if a country can't stand up for survivors, we've lost our moral soul. If we can't protect children, we've lost our moral soul. This is not political. It's a moral issue. And we're going to fight to get these files released.
A lot of independents like myself cheered for Trump over Kamala because one of the things he campaigned on was releasing the Epstein files. He is now calling it a Democratic hoax. But then at the same time, he's the key contributor of an agent helping bring it down. Which one is it? Recently, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson claimed
He kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. He was an FBI informant to try to take this stuff down.
Then Mr. Mike Johnson changed his story to this.
If I use the right word, I said FBI informant. I'm not sure. I wasn't there. This is in my lane.
So this guy, that's third in line to the presidency, isn't sure whether Trump is an FBI informant or not. And because the White House narrative on Epstein changes so fast, my question to Nancy Mace was, which story is it?
I hear, hey, this is a witch hunt with the media who've lied about him for years. So I get his frustration. They're trying to portray him as this horrible human being when he's actually not the bad guy. He's not the boogeyman in this. The boogeyman is dead. And his little black book, who knows where it is. And I do think there is a massive cover-up. I don't think Trump, he has nothing to do with it.
Yes, you heard that right. Robert Maxwell, Ghislaine's father, was a textbook.
Come out wherever you are. I know where you're hiding, I know who you are. Come out.
How is it that my father can be convicted of 34 crimes, but no one on Epstein's list has even been brought to light?
Seriously, we need to release the Epstein list. That is an important thing.
Put on your big boy pants and let us know who the pedophiles are.
What the hell are they hiding with Jeffrey Epstein?
How is it that my father can be convicted of
names from the Epstein flight logs?
All right, these are the people that were on Epstein Island, confirmed by multiple sources. Bill Clinton, George Mitchell, Alex Baldwin, Ralph Fiennes, George Hamilton, Dustin Hoffman, Kevin Spacey, Liz Hurley, Laura Hutton, Janice Dixon, Naomi Campbell, Christy Turlington, Henry Kissinger, which may be one of the most evil men on the world.
He is, yeah.
Joan Rivers, Courtney Love, Mick Jagger, Courtney Guest, Phil Collins, Simon LeBon, Charlie Rose of PBS, Richard Branson, Candace Bushel, Tom Ford, Vera Wang, Nadia Byerlin, Co Stark, and here's some more. Seth Green, James Gunn, Dan Schneider, Steven Spielberg, Tom Hanks, Stephen Colbert, Kevin Spacey, Kathy Griffin, Oprah Winfrey, Sean Carter, Beyonce Knowles, Anthony Kiedis, John Legend, Christy Teigen, Jim Carrey, Steven Tyler, Ben Affleck, Stephen Collins, Will Ferrell, Eminem, Jeffrey Jones, Victor Salva, Mark Rector, Charlie Sheen, Tyler Grasham, Madonna, Catherine Hudson, Gwen Stefani, Stefani Germota, James Franco, Will Smith. Oh, has Will Smith been in the news lately? Justin Rowland, John Cusack, Anderson Cooper, Demi Moore, Brian Affleck, Meryl Streep, Wanda Sykes, Chelsea Handler, Michelle Wolf, Pharrell Williams, Quentin Tarantino, Robert Downey Jr. They are petrified of that list and what those films getting out. They have all the videos of all those people at work.
Really?
Names from the
So we're all waiting for the full list of Jeffrey Epstein's associates, but while we go ahead and wait for that, I'm going to show you some information on people that are associates with Jeffrey Epstein that have been to his Manhattan home, and this information has been out since like 2010. As you guys can see here, right in the middle, we have Jeffrey Epstein himself with his nice old Harvard hoodie on, but we're going to talk about the two people on the left and right side of him. These two people are his housekeepers who are husband and wife, and they've worked for him since the 90s in his Manhattan home. The photos that I'm about to show you have been posted from the housekeepers themselves. As you can see down here, they were posted March 5th, 2010, and the caption reads, "With our boss." You guys can look up all this other information to see that these two were housekeepers for him in Manhattan since the 90s. And a lot of people say that they had a deep role in what Jeffrey Epstein was doing. So we're going to go ahead and start this off with a bang with none other than Chris Tucker himself. As you can see, Chris Tucker here in this picture with Jeffrey Epstein's housekeeper. It literally hurt the heart because we've all heard these stories of Chris Tucker, but this absolutely proved it to me. Next, we have none other than Bill Clinton himself, which is not a huge shocker. We all know about Bill Clinton, but here we go again. Here is another piece of evidence linking his association with Jeffrey Epstein. Next, we have Senator John Kerry. Super weird. This is a bad photo, but you guys can definitely tell who this is. And if you're not sure, look up John Kerry and then you'll know. And here we have none other than Prince Andrew himself. As we all know, we were well aware of Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein's connection, but here is another one tying him even more so to Jeffrey Epstein. Next, we have actress Hilary Swank. This is all super weird, but you cannot not judge anybody when it comes to this. Like, you're going to have your mind blown. Next, we have the Duchess of York, Sarah Ferguson. And it's just like, what are all these people doing in Jeffrey Epstein's Manhattan home? But at this point, we don't even need to ask this question. We're pretty sure we know what they're doing. They're not just there to have a cup of tea. And last but not least, we have Petra Nemkova, who is a TV host and a supermodel. So we know that these housekeepers have worked for Jeffrey Epstein in his Manhattan home since the 90s, and it has been said that they have helped some of Jeffrey Epstein's schemes. And as you can see here, posting pictures in his lavish office and memorializing all the famous people that they are meeting through Jeffrey Epstein. So drop in the comments what you guys think of all these photos, and definitely go check this out on Facebook.
Being lied to by those that should protect you. You're being lied to by those that should protect you. You're being lied to by those that should protect you. You're being lied to by those that should protect you. You're being lied to. You're being lied to. You're being lied to by those that should protect you. You're being lied to. You're being lied to. You're being lied to.
Okay, stop. Okay, stop. Stop. Oh, man. Wow, Karina. Dancer. Stop. Oh my God. Hey, yo. They got Smokey, Chris Tucker. But then again, look, it's been said that you don't reach the $20 million movie and that kind of payday and pay grade unless you done gave up something or you're doing things you have no business doing. Now, what I'm gonna do is take time out to come talk to you out there in the chat room. First off, Jay Snake, I'm not bumping heads with you, man. You know I enjoy talking to you. Now, if we, like I said, this is the home sometime of point counterpoint, okay? But it's all in love, though. You know what I'm saying? And yo, I enjoyed talking to you. And if you noticed, once you emphasized that that Diddy's victims were grown in context, I saw that you were right. That's why I stopped. I conceded actually. So don't say I'm trying to bump heads. Man, I enjoy conversing with you, but let me see who's talking. Let's take it from the top. I hope some of y'all are still here. Okay? But I am Manna. I gotta go back to you. Yo, looking at all the names that were named of the people who were on that list, from John Kerry to Barack Obama, Lauren Hutton, these are some, Jim Carrey. Oh man, Ace Ventura. Wow. It may go, your original comment, we have to proceed by knowing everybody is an attacker or victim in entertainment. Makes it hard to watch a movie or listen to music. Are we complicit with subscription tickets? Geez, maybe we need to unsubscribe altogether. That list is huge, and these are people that and some of the people that were named, Iron Man, we all grew up watching. Okay, Marquise, you simply said hello. What's going on? Yeah, Royal Prince, wow indeed. Marquis, trying to distract us with Diddy. Yeah, Diddy, no, look, Diddy is only, no, I won't say he's a small grain. Diddy, whatever Diddy has on these people, the fact that when Diddy got caught and was brought to justice, okay, look, make no mistake, his hand is deep in this blood pool, okay? And I'm not going to ignore the fact that there was a host of CEOs and all kinds of other executives alleged to have had ties with him, started retiring all of a sudden, okay? And getting ghosted. Now, still, the jury's still out on what happens to Diddy when he goes to prison. Anyway, let's see what's talking. Salaya Ben Yab, welcome. Okay, and this Jason the Great, like I said, the difference is that Puff victims were grown. Big difference. Those are grown people who chose to take part in Diddy's diddling. And all right, you okay? And like I said, I rested my case because I did consider that they are of legal age. So I'm not gonna. I can't argue with you on that, Jay Snake the Great. Let me go ahead on. He said, see. Now, Smashing Idol, you made the comment by saying, how much power can you have to have so many scared to speak out? Now, imagine our community. Well, I'm going to say this to you. If the Bible said that the earth has been given into the hands of the wicked, right about now, they've had mucho power. Smash. Okay? And you're right. This is creepy. What are these? Let me tell you what they're on. They're on some satanic, vampiric, zombie, witch, warlock, energy, major. Smashing Idol. But they had mucho power. And don't forget that under the Luciferian doctrine, assassination and murder is looked upon as a good thing to quell anyone who might want to rebel for the greater good. Okay? This thing is huge. And now, Krima, there are other videos that I sent you. If you can line those videos up that continue on with the whole Jeffrey Epstein. I sent you a couple of videos on that. They're already in order. Run those. Cause I want to just.
Yes, up here right now. I mean, I got one right here.
Okay, so we're gonna finalize it. We're gonna, as the conversation continues. I'm glad to see y'all out here talking. And let me see. Iron Man, you said I saw something about Morgan Freeman Okay, I saw something about Morgan Freeman and his step-granddaughter. I was about through sick of all this crapola. Black man, you above all this. Yeah, I don't want to think that Mr. Clark, Morgan, I don't want to think, I wouldn't, but you know what? Again, when you're in that level of money making that Mr. Freeman finally wound up getting to enjoy, there's a lot of question marks when it comes to Mr. Freeman as well. And I've been watching him since, the days of the electric company, okay? When he was a DJ and he was Drac. But yeah, Iron Manna, hey, it is what it is. And you said Iron Whip that, man. Wicked got to get the long sleep. And you know what? Because I was a victim of being raped as a child, I agree with you. Iron Man and Smash, they do got to get. And there's no coming back from that. You got to just destroy a person like that. So with that being said, y'all keep on talking. I'm going to come back and talk to you on the next hour. Okay? And with that, you're now tuned to the Lion's Den, the segment title, the conversation continues, talking about what's on your mind. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button. Also, share this show as we are all the way live, okay? And we're going to continue to make it happen. Let's go to work. Let's go to work. Let's go to work. Run the video, Karima. And this is Representative Eric Seaswell. I'm not very good pronouncing these, weirdo last names. But anyway, listen to what he says in regards to this whole Epstein issue. Let's go to work, Karima.
The Epstein files like a mile beneath the earth. I mean, it looks like they're being blackmailed, right? I mean, we're in a Epstein shutdown right now. I went to Washington earlier this week, and the doors to the Capitol were closed because they don't want to swear in a member of Congress who will be the 218th signature that would force a vote on the Epstein files. So they've decided it's better to shut down the country, to not negotiate a way to open this up, than to have whatever the hell is in the Epstein files that's connected to Donald Trump.
Let's talk about that new member of Congress. This is what Adelita Grijalva said in a statement earlier this year. 2 Republicans in Florida were sworn in during a pro forma sessions less than 24 hours after their elections. The fact that Southern Arizona is being treated differently raises serious questions about political motivations, especially since I have pledged to be the 218th signature on the discharge petition to force a vote on the Epstein files. Do you have a sense, Congressman, of legally how long they can wait before swearing Grijalva in?
They can wait the whole Congress. It's really up to the Speaker of the House. It's unprecedented. And again, if they're going to keep the Congress shut down, they're keeping the country shut down. So I feel for our troops who are not going to be paid by the 15th of the month, the air traffic controllers who are supposed to make sure planes aren't crashing, FBI agents who are investigating terrorism cases who are also not going to be paid by the 15th of the month. And again, for what? Because you don't want to swear in somebody who's going to force a vote on the Epstein files? Or the Epstein files and protecting Donald Trump that important that everyone else would have to suffer? I mean, it's really remarkable. And I hope that, the country demands that their legislators get back to Washington and reopen Congress.
So, Congress, I just want to be clear there. I want to draw that out a little bit. So, this seat that has been won by a Democrat, the Congress is
it wasn't even close,
now.
Right? It wasn't even close.
It wasn't even close. So there is nothing that has harmed or impaired her coming to this seat legitimately. There's no question about that back in her state. So the Congress stays closed. That 218th vote is not cast, that she doesn't get seated. At some point, are you saying that they literally could just keep the Congress closed down? Because they have to open it at some point, don't they? I mean, they cannot not seat her. They have to seat her at some point.
You would think, I was knocking on doors yesterday in my district to get Prop 50 passed, the redistricting measure, and everyone is watching the shutdown. And a senior citizen asked me when I was at her door, she said, is my Social Security check going to be delivered? People have questions and they expect us to be in Washington working. And look at the amount of time we've squandered on the clock to negotiate a way out of the shutdown over the last 8 weeks. They sent us home about 2 weeks early in August because they didn't want to have votes on Epstein. And now, they canceled the 2 votes that we were supposed to, the 2 voting days we were supposed to have this week because of Epstein. And people are hurting and people are suffering. And it's really going to take pressure from the American people. And 48% of Americans are blaming Republicans for the shutdown, as opposed to 30% who are blaming Democrats. And those numbers have to move Donald Trump. He's a numbers guy. He wants to be liked. He wants to be popular. And I hope it forces him to the table to reopen government.
Well, speaking of the shutdown, also, Mr. Secretary Lutnick, if you are watching or you happen to see this clip, we don't know if you were being glib or trying to send us a message, but blink twice, honey, if you have something to say. Feel free to come here and say it. We are listening. Speaking of the shutdown, Congressman, the Justice Department website blamed Democrats for the government shutdown. This is what the DOJ website says right now. Democrats have shut down the government. Department of Justice websites are not currently regularly updated. Please refer to the Department of Justice's contingency plan for more information. I used to work in the government. I don't think the government shutdown precludes the websites from being up. And I also think that it is a violation of the Hatch Act to blame the other political party for the government being shut down on the government websites. One, what is going on here? But two, what can anybody do about this? Because it seems like they is in this Trump administration, from the Department of Justice to the Department of Education, from the White House podium, there's very partisan language that is being spewed here. And it is a lie, by the way. The Democrats did not shut down the government, but it's important to say that. But what can be done? Because these feel like blatant violations of the Hatch Act, but who's going to enforce the violations of the Hatch Act?
Yeah, violations of the Hatch Act are 10 exits ago, right? They don't care about that anymore at all. That's so clear. The president is, openly taking, contributions to his meme coin from foreign governments. These rules don't apply to them anymore, but the American people care because they're the ones who are paying the price. They're the ones who are paying more at the grocery store because of the tariffs. They're the ones who are seeing their speech silenced every time the president can't take a joke, and dissent is punished more and more. So we're not helpless. Here are a few things we can do just in the next 30 days. There's a No Kings rally on October 18. There were 7 million people who marched at the first one back in July. If we double that number, that'll get every Republican lawmaker's attention. On November 4, there's the Fab Four, I call them, as far as races across the country that matter. Prop 50 in California, retaining the 3 Supreme Court justice seats in Pennsylvania, the governor's races in Virginia and New Jersey. If we show up and win those races, that's momentum. That is the confidence we need to get back and take us into the midterms, where we can demoralize their base, turn out ours, win the midterms, and cut our time in hell in half. So there's work to do. We're not helpless, and it's time to do it.
And yes, Smash, the country's on shutdown because of pedophiles. That's right. They're trying to hide it, y'all. They want to. Now, I can't pronounce that woman's last name. I'm not going to even try. Let's just say the candidate 218. And you see, they trying to keep her up out the zone. They keep her from signing that petition until they try to figure out some other way they can stonewall and delay. The country's on shutdown behind trying to protect pedos. But look at some of the people that have been seen on Epstein Island already. Those names alone, no wonder some of them are so miserable, celebrity-wise. They're so miserable, and they look and sound different. Come on, wow, man. All right, line up the next video, Kareem. We're gonna keep this energy going. Okay, there are some people that I want you to see. This is not yo, man. Like I said, y'all, this is a horrible world that we have inherited. And now we're in the time where we have to be the ones to reveal and kick over these stones, because we can't continue to let these old fogies and these young demons continue to fester. All right? Now you understand why mainstream media is what it is. Corporate owned and controlled. Now you understand why there are certain forces in these last 20 years looking to knock out and control every aspect of media to keep these topics from being discussed by liberated moderators like myself, the Seventh Answer, JT Raw, and others out here. Now you understand why it's important to appreciate the mediums that are being given to you, where you have individuals like myself and the Seventh Answer who are not being paid millions of dollars to lie to you. And we don't want to be paid to lie to anyone. So here we are. Here we are, being the living sacrifice the good Lord requires us to be, and bringing you the truth for absolutely free. Now check that out. And I'd rather be a broke or somewhat, I'm just gonna say broke compared to these people. I'd rather be broke and be a free giver and putting forth righteous free information than be a paid hoe, a paid government hoe. Okay? Because contrary to Queen Mother Della Reese as Vera in Harlem Nights, there's no such thing as an honest hoe. I'm just saying. I want to just try to add a little bit of humor there. But this is just bad. Okay? If you can cue up the videos now, I put them in order. Okay, it was 2 videos I sent on the Epstein issue. So you got me in an analytical mode right now, as this is keeping me from crying, to tell you the truth. All right? But yeah. It's like I said, I'm at a loss for words. Normally that just don't happen. Okay. But let me see what you said, Smash. You said, but that figures anyway. Remember when the GUs got caught with that tunnel? We know who still stood by them. Yeah. You're talking about that case out in Brooklyn, I think it was? Yep. They be on that too. Okay, they be on that too. The small hats, yeah, they be on that too. All right, those tunnels. And boy, you saw how fast that story got dried up real quick. And yeah, I agree. It's a sad day. That's why we need for the Lord to now no longer delay. Just bring judgment on this earth. It's necessary. It is needed. And Kermit, if you don't find that video, look for the video. I'm gonna feature now 4 videos. You're gonna have former child star Elijah Wood, Orlando Brown.
Just give me a few seconds. I'm doing something real quick.
Okay, no problem. I'm just giving them a outline on what's coming up now. We're gonna listen to Corey Feldman. Okay, and we're gonna taper off with former actress Allison Mack, star of she was once a star of Smallville way back. Okay, So, like I said, as you can see, this is a topic that we had to tackle. And though it's painful for me because I'm up here reliving memories myself, this has to be done. Because like I said, we don't need for our children and the future generations to be inheriting this. And it's just time for the Lord to spread his powerful wings over this wicked society and obliterate it. They don't need, matter of fact, they don't need another day to rule. Seriously. Because I don't know about anyone else. I'm at my wit's end. I hate still being here. And like I said, to see these things transpiring, and it just seems like everything is hopeless, but it's not. But still, not being able to do anything about it directly is what I feel some kind of way about. Ooh. Indigenous black man, welcome. Iron Man, he said, what's sad is my 15-year-old son said he don't think no God coming to save us because we well past the amount of evil that should fed him up. Ain't nobody crying out too distracted by media and petty entertainment and lust for food and sex. That's a powerful, powerful outlook by your son. But, listen, he operates on his own time, but we see the signs, but look, he right. I'm saying the same thing. Here I am, I'm fed up. Here I'm trying to strive to be a moral man, stay in my right mind. And when you see and hear all this madness and chaos going on around you, it's taking a lot out of me. I'm speaking for me. And indigenous black man, if I didn't say welcome, peace. What's going on? Because again, it's taxing. All right? You got all these children being born. Now I can recall in my time when we were kids, there were things that were happening, but not like this. Damn. We're seeing all these horrendous murders and killings, and I'm sighing and crying. And you know what, Iron Man, I'm gonna say this to you. As far as this food is concerned, are we really eating food? I think we're eating food stuff. Much of this stuff is crap. It's hard as heck to find any kind of store selling fruits with seeds in them. Much of this stuff that we're eating are just food stuffs. You look at the ingredients on much of what we're eating or consuming, you can barely pronounce the ingredient name. And when you look it up, it's something that shouldn't be there in the first place. Yeah. Hold on. Morality got to stand for something. I won't deviate and none of mine. And you know what? It's not and I got you. But I'm to the point now, to tell you the truth, Iron Man, again, your first comment is sticking to me. I'm to the point now, I have actually shut down from watching a lot of things on TV because it's all pornographic and designed to titillate your sensual, overstimulate your sensual senses. It's not a TV show nowadays that doesn't have some kind of heavy, demonic, sex-laden theme to it. The images are graphic and gory. All right? And I'm starting to see gradually some of the stars of these shows becoming younger and younger. Well, I don't really want to get into a sermon, but as far as what when IBM is saying about hate, but hate in this context, meaning this here, Iron Man, I'm gonna just jump out there and say this here. When Christ said, "If hate even your father and your mother," if my father and my mother are here supporting this evil or giving support to a system that is horrendous and evil, and even try to coax me into it, then I have to. Let's say I won't hate them from a venomous standpoint, but I have to hate the thing that they're doing. And if it means me staying away from them on a limited basis, then that's what I'll have to do. That's what that hate in this context means. It don't have to necessarily mean being mean-spirited or vicious towards anyone. But if it means I have to stay away or limit my contact around you, knowing that the Lord hates the thing that you're supporting that's evil, then that's what I'll have to do. But I don't think it means to have to hate somebody from a vicious standpoint. There's different degrees of hate, Iron Man. I'll come back and we'll continue that discussion. But now, let me run this video. Check this out, y'all.
Special election to fill her late father's congressional seat by 40 points. But Republican Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, has still not allowed her to be sworn into office. Now, Republicans say that it's because the House has not returned to a normal session. But it just so happens that once sworn in, Grijalva would be the crucial 218th signature on the bipartisan petition to force a House vote on releasing the Epstein files. Speaking to CBS News yesterday, Speaker Johnson said it was all no big deal and that Grijalva would be sworn in next week.
Representative Grijalva, who won a special election last week in Arizona, she's yet to be sworn in. I know you're not in session, but you've sworn in Republicans out of session. Why not her? Does it have anything to do with Jeffrey Epstein?
Well, the House is not on the floor doing business this week, but we will do it immediately early next week as soon as everyone returns to town.
Except not so fast, because this afternoon, Johnson changed his mind and said the House would not reconvene next week after all. Congresswoman-elect Adelita Grijalva of Arizona joins me now. I'm going to call you Congresswoman. It's very good to have you on. Congratulations on your victory.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I wish I was already sworn in. I was in DC. We had an opportunity to do it during a pro forma session. It would have really been helpful to be able to be a voice for the people of this community that elected me to work.
Well, so I want to just put this so people get a sense of this. So special elections actually happen fairly frequently. Members retire, unfortunately, like your father, who my condolences passed away. I knew him pretty well. He's a great guy. These special elections happen fairly often. And you'll see there, like in 2025, the two Republicans in Florida were sworn in the next day. The Democrat who replaced Jerry Connolly in Virginia, James Walkinshaw, he was sworn in the next day. Have you received official communication from the Speaker's office of the House about why you are still not yet sworn in?
No, there has been no direct communication with the Speaker's office, which has been very frustrating because most of the time I'm hearing it secondhand from reporters who have asked for a statement just like the CBS one. I mean, really, it's coming up on a Google alert, and that's how I'm finding out. And so when we heard that it was going to be on the 7th, I have 3 children, you know, my husband, they want to be a part of this very special moment.
Yes.
And so I made arrangements. I am not a travel agent, so I made arrangements, took me forever. And now I'm like, so what do we do now? And the frustration for me, really, personally, that is an annoyance. But for the people of this community in the middle of a government shutdown, when we have so many people that are here, we have people that work on base, work at the VA, we have, you know, the airport here. There are going to be people who are going to need services from their federally elected, like their office. And we don't have, the doors are locked and closed. I can't onboard staff, can't hire anybody.
So, you know, this is a little like what happened after the 2020 election, where all the kind of plumbing of how like an election victory becomes a president got exposed, because usually it just happens in the background. Like, realizing as I talk to you, I don't actually understand the process here. The House has to formally recognize you. Like, are we waiting on the speaker and he has to do something affirmatively?
Basically, you have the dean of in this case, the Democrats, which what used to be my dad will now be Greg Stanton, is going to introduce me and basically say, here she is. Her election results are, you know, very clear. Here she is. And then he says what he did with Walkinshaw. It's like, you know, we accept the unofficial results without question, and then hand the time over to the representative in a special to be able to say a few words. And that's it. You're sworn in. You get the little button. You get to go around everywhere. In this case, when I was in DC, I'm basically a tourist. And so I couldn't go anywhere without being escorted by Leader Jeffrey's staff, who was very accommodating, by the way. Other offices were very helpful in trying to, you know, just help me navigate, because I don't have any security clearance. I don't have staff. They're able to get into these areas in the back that are protected for very good reason. And so when I came out with all of the other members of the Democratic caucus, I had to be escorted in there. So I mean, my nameplate is where my dad's used to be, and it is in the Longworth building, but all the doors are locked and I can't go into that office until I'm sworn in.
Okay. There is, you saw our introduction.
Stop for a second, y'all. Stop.
Confirm one
When
thing
you get a
first.
chance, finish. Just
When
stop.
you are sworn in, do you intend to sign the discharge petition that would force a vote on the release of the Epstein files?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
So I would be 218. And that seems to, I mean, at first I was trying not to be a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I also have been the same. Like, maybe there's something I'm missing here.
Right. It doesn't have anything to do with these files, but that is literally the only thing I can point to. It's not like me getting sworn in is going to change, you know, now the Democrats.
Okay. Now I'm listening to her as she's talking. I hope you all, while you're conversing among yourselves as well, pay attention to what she's saying. She doesn't have access to her office. She doesn't have any security clearance. Now, here's what I'm hoping. I'm going to put this out there. I hope nothing happens to Miss Grijalgo. I hope nothing happens to her family in the meantime, between time. But I wouldn't be surprised if she gets a visit in an attempted buyout beforehand. You know, that's how they do, you know. But I hope between now and this shutdown, nothing happens to this woman. Go ahead, play the video, Karina.
Will be in the majority. I mean, there are certain things that are not going to change. Where Democrats will still be in the minority. That is literally the only thing that is different in, you know, me getting sworn in versus Representative Walkinshaw or Petronis or Fine. They were literally sworn in less than 24 hours after their election.
And they can always do just a pro forma session, right? The fact that being out of session doesn't bar it. They can change the rules however they want, and obviously Democrats would accommodate that. So that doesn't make sense either. And there's no reason they can't do it during a shutdown, because Congress is still funded, because Congress is a separate branch of government, right?
Correct. And I believe it was 2019. We were in a shutdown and the entire class was sworn in during a shutdown. So that's not the issue either. They're really, I can't think of anything else.
I can't either. I'm going.
The timing is certainly suspicious for sure.
But your point too is like, yes, if that's part of it or that's the reason, but the people in your district deserve a representative in Congress. You had a special election. It's been 10 days. There are people, like you said, like VA employees, other folks who are going to be affected by the shutdown who should have some member they can go to and say, hey, what do I do? What if I don't know about what's going to happen with our paychecks? And they don't have that right now.
Especially, and here in this community, we have 3 ports of entry with Mexico. We have a lot of immigration issues that are coming up. And my dad had a reputation for doing amazing constituent services. We expect to do the same. And I can't offer assistance to anyone.
Yeah. Congresswoman
It's very frustrating.
Yeah, I would love to get further explanation, particularly since Mike Johnson said on camera, don't worry, we're coming back next week. And then today decided they'll be off another week. We'd like to get some follow-up there, and we're going to try to run that down. Congresswoman-elect Adelita Grijalva, thank you for your time tonight.
Okay, stand by, y'all. We're gonna continue on. You know, the next we're gonna now go into some videos with featuring former child stars and everything else. But as you can see, like I said, this woman, I hope nothing happens to this woman in the meantime, between time, because like I said, this is really, really odd. You know, and here it is so blatant that that they shut down Congress, okay, and shut down the government to protect, as you said, Smashing Idol, to protect these pedos. This is the world we've inherited and all that good stuff. And let me just join this conversation that you guys are having right now. And let me see who's talking. Let me see who's talking. All right, guys, let's be respectful of each other. Now we're going at a point counterpoint. I see you're having a very powerful conversation, but let me just say this here, right? I want to just give I'm gonna give an example. I am man, and let's see if you agree. And I know the context that I'm with indigenous black men about what Christ said about hating your father, your mother, if need be, to come and serve the Lord. Now, I'm going to give an example of what, like I said, there's different degrees of hate. You don't have to be it's not about being hateful from a mean-spirited standpoint. But I'll give an example. For 36 years or more, as I strive to be a practicing Israelite, I am, man, my mama, still, to this day, knowing my answer is going to be no, will still call me on Thanksgiving, Christmas, or to come and get some food. It's just food. No, it's not just food, mommy. Throughout the years, I explained to my mama, Mom, I don't celebrate those holidays because those are holidays that have nothing to do with the Lord. Also, our people were on the plantations and in all kinds of horrible subjection when these days were put forth. So that when I hate when she calls me, you see where I'm going with this? I am man. That's the context that Christ is speaking about. It's not about so much having the hate for the person, all right? But I'm just saying, my mother will. Okay, I'll have people that I love. Other family members might call me and want to try to coax me to do things they know. Now here they know that I don't do it. Okay, but they'll still insist upon call, and I hate when they do that. So I want to put that out there. I'm with indigenous black men, but we just got to put that hate into its proper context. And remember now, there are degrees to everything. There's levels to everything, Iron Manna. Now, I'm with you on the fact that when Christ said about hating, it's not so much you got to be vicious or mean-spirited towards your father, your mama. You can honor them, Smash. I agree with honoring your father and mama. But what I'm not going to honor is if my mama calls me, like she going to call me this year. She'll call me this year. Hey, I made this. Mom, you know I don't. When in 36 years and counting, I am never coming to a Thanksgiving dinner. Would you stop, please? So I hope that kind of helps alleviate this intense conversation that you and IBM are having. And IBM, be advised, albeit you were talking to me and directing your comment to me, you're in a public forum, so you know, all of us are subject to having somebody reply to it. Okay, and Iron Manna, she's a family member, so just hey, let's continue on with this conversation. Let me see. Yeah. So Karima, when you're ready, look up. I put them in order. Let's look for Elijah Wood. Okay. First and foremost, I want y'all to hear what he has to say. We're gonna run it down the line. All right. And again, I'm glad to see you all are out here talking. And again, let's not get too wrapped up on hate and when the Bible tells you there's a time of love and a time to hate. But please understand there are varying degrees of love, there's varying degrees to hate, okay, and any other emotion. All right. So in this context, when Christ speaks about hate, is talking about, don't let your father and your mother take you off, because I forget where it's at in the Old Testament where the Lord said, if your father and mother try to coax you to do a thing that goes against me, don't honor that. You shut them down in love and respect, and keep it moving and keep it pushing. And that is all about context. It's all about understanding temperance and degrees. I'm gonna keep hammering that home, but still, I'm glad to see y'all conversing. I see y'all going through debate, point, counterpoint, and you keep me inspired and keep me on my toes. For those of you who are just tuning in now, right? If you want to know what the title of this segment is tonight, it's A Clockwork Deranged. Because as you can see, around the clock, everything is deranged. I get that title from an old, very disturbing 1975, anthology cult classic movie starring Malcolm McDowell. It was titled A Clockwork Orange. In that movie was made about 53 or 4 years ago, but yet it was highly prophetic about what the world was going to be coming to, which is now about how the looks of the crimes of sodomy, the crimes of today of rape and everything else, there would be a depraved indifference to it. And here we are, all these years later, and indeed, we're living in a very desensitized world and society where there are forces out here trying to normalize. They're trying to normalize what we know not to be normal. And then they're trying to protect those who are doing these things, and these are people who run our government. These are the same individuals who are making life and death, literal life and death decisions about what we can have, what we shouldn't have, and you wonder why the schools, medication, hospitalization, just overall health care, employment, fair wages. You wonder why all these things are in the toilet? Look at who's governing. Look who is running the country. Look the world over. You have clearly demons with earthly feet at the helm of the governance. All these freaks and just downright, just downright, okay. You and now you understand why. In these last 40 years, why the pornography industry, the adult, what they call adult entertainment industry, is what it is now, in the billions of dollars and traded publicly on the stock exchange. That's how deep this thing is. So let me see who's talking while we wait for the videos to get queued up. See what y'all talking about. Okay. All right, we got Tyrone on deck. All right. Big Mississippi in the house. All in the blood. It's all in the blood and name of Yahweh Shai. All right, you right. You got Daryl Cosmon. Love, light, and balance to you, my dear sister. All right. Yeah. Tyrone me. Okay, you know what? Big Mississippi, you right. It is judgment time. And it needs to come faster. Act out. You know what? Harvest the wicked indeed. Be blessed, Tyrone. And I'm with you. It is time for the wicked to be harvested and thrown in the wood chipper, bush fire, whatever. And indigenous black man, I'm with you on this, IBM. I do hate the way this world is indeed going. The way it's going, it will. Those of us trying to keep it right, do right, be right, we'll be overwhelmed if this thing continues to go on the way it's going. I can't see us being here another 5 to 10 years. The way this thing is happening. Nothing at all. Okay, see. And I love all your opinions, Now, Daryl Kosman, I pray that you're not referring to me to sister. Now, I know I got this Michael Jackson type voice, but if you're referring, I'm a brother, actually. So now, hold on, I got to concentrate, put some more bass in my voice.
No, I ain't talking about I am manner.
Okay, I'm getting scared over here. Thank you, Seven Answer. I was getting nervous, like, hold up, man. Okay. All right, let me see now. Let me know. Yeah, here we go, y'all. Now, run this video, Seventh Answer. Fair use, y'all. Fair use.
He was just 3.
Corey Feldman has no idea what it's like not to be famous. He was just 3 years old in this McDonald's commercial.
McDonald's gift certificates. I literally was famous before I knew my own name.
His roles defined the 80s. Goonies,
This was my dream, my wish.
Stand By Me,
You call my dad a loony again, and I'll kill you.
License to Drive.
The only difference between you and that greaseball is that he has a license and you don't.
Films that propelled him into the spotlight for his entire youth. But being famous so young, he says, caused serious damage to him and his friends.
Do you feel like you missed out on a normal childhood?
What childhood? I don't know what that means.
A lost childhood and a loss of innocence.
Hey,
He blames the
that video.
adults, not
Stop
just
right
those
here.
looking to profit from charming children, but also.
All right. Run it back real quick. I'm gonna the two actors. I'm gonna show everybody something. If you can just pull it back just a little bit, Karima. Right here. Now, this is who I'm talking about. Corey Haim. That's Corey Feldman on the right and Corey Haim on the left. Okay, Corey Haim. This is the young brother, the young actor who died some years ago due to a drug overdose and being overwhelmed. He's the actor who accused Charlie Sheen of having his way with him. Okay, behind a filming trailer. Okay. And not just Charlie, it was not just Charlie Sheen he accused, it's others he accused as well, but Charlie Sheen is just a well-known actor who took him, in the initiation. Wow. So run the video, Karima.
From charming children, but also some with far more sinister motives.
I can tell you that the number one problem in Hollywood was and is and always will be pedophilia. That's the biggest problem for children in this industry.
The casting couch even applies to children.
Oh, yeah. Not in the same way. It's all done under the radar.
Nobody talks about pedophilia.
It's the big secret.
And it's widespread?
Oh, yeah. I was surrounded by them when I was 14 years old. Surrounded. Literally. Didn't even know it. It wasn't until I was old enough to realize what they were and what they wanted and what they were about and the types of people that were surrounding me till I went, oh my God, they were everywhere like vultures.
Vultures who Feldman says abused him and his best friend, the late child actor Corey Haim, his co-star in The Lost Boys.
Well, what happens if my mom is dating the head vampire?
Feldman says the trauma of that pedophilia contributed to Haim's death.
There's one person to blame in the death of Corey Haim, and that person happens to be a Hollywood mogul. And that person needs to be exposed, but unfortunately, I can't be the one to do it. But the person that knows who did it and knows who he is watching right now, I guarantee you. Yeah.
Intriguing.
Yeah. There was a circle of older men that surrounded themselves around this group of kids. And they all had either their own power or connections to great power in the entertainment industry.
Feldman won't name names. And he admits his friend had a struggle with addiction, which he says was a mechanism to cope with his demons.
It was a symptom.
It was a symptom, correct.
Are we in it? In 2008, the two Coreys confronted each other on their reality show about the dark past they shared.
You let me get around in my life, man, raped, so to speak, when I was about 14 and a half, and I'm saying this right now. What'd you do, man, when you saw that going down when I was 14 to me? What'd you do? You knew about it.
You want to talk about the truth? Okay, well, then let's talk about the truth. I was being molested at the same time by somebody else. What'd you do? There's a lot of good people in this industry, but there's also a lot of really, really sick, corrupt people in this industry. And there are people in this industry who have gotten away with it for so long that they feel they're above the law. And that's got to change. That's got to stop.
yeah, like I said, this is a deep, deep, very unpleasant hellhole that we are uncovering. Next up, we're gonna have I believe Orlando Brown. And like I said, if you don't know who Orlando Brown is, well, I'm gonna give you a quick backdrop. Like I said, we watched him on Family Matters. He was 3J, you know. And again, if you go back and watch the 1995 comedy classic with Damon Wayans, Major Payne, the cute little boy, cute little kid, you know, who couldn't hold his water and always being scared by Major Payne. All right. Okay, listen to this, y'all. Listen up. And this is gonna answer your question, smashing out how they have so much power.
One of the things I've seen that you kind of spoke about recently was I seen you speak about Hollywood or Hollyweird and, you know, people selling their souls. And, you know, I know you were kind of, you know, linked into Hollywood and everything for a long time. And
I
you know
am
what I'm saying?
Hollywood. Yeah, I am Hollywood, which is why I know. But I'm not arrogantly going to sit here and be like, oh, this is that and this is that. Like, there's a lot of things that will make you buckle, bro. They make you buckle, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, they make you start crying. Like, you know what I'm saying? What people do. Like, it's not no glory to be talking about. It's really
Right.
it's really Hollywood. It's really up out there. It's really up bad. And like you just be like, I was just listening to that man's album. His star is on the floor and it's sitting right here. Like you, unless you're not intoxicated, unless you're just, you know, you have to be really in tune with life and just notice bone structure, skin, eye color, everything. You have to be in tune and you'll be able to see it. It'll manifest itself right in front of you. You know what I'm saying? But just for me to be sitting here and being like, nah, because man, people done lost their families, bro. People done lost their kids and shit. A lot of stuff that happened.
Do you think there needs to be more of a light shed on Hollywood or Hollyweird?
No.
Exposed more?
No. Don't nobody want to know what happened to them people's families and shit. Don't nobody need to know that shit. Ever. I know. That's all it needs. That's all it needs. I don't need to do that. That's not for me to be, nigga, you get killed for shit like that. That shit is real. You know what I'm saying? People done really, really went through some shit.
Okay, stop for a second.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Every once in a while you have somebody come out and kind of say something.
Yeah, Smash, you heard what he just said? People have lost their families. You get killed. See, this poor soul. And like I said, these kid actors were given to this machine by their parents. I want you to think about that for a second. He said there's a machine. People lost their families, have lost their, and you can get killed when you jump out here and you tell and you talk. And let's just think about all the celebrities throughout the last, I'm going to say, these last 15 years. Think about it. All of them dropping one by one by one. Okay? I'm thinking about when the ODB. I'm the ODB, as you can see. FBI, stop watching me. I think back when on an interview, MTV interview, Old Dirty Bastard said, look, if I get killed, the FBI did it because, you know, I know all about the things they've been doing out here. Does anyone remember that? Huh? Okay, like I said, current world champion boxer Ryan Garcia, who had been on a tangent about, man, they eating children, they're doing all kind of things. I'm not doing that. And he ain't been the same since. Okay? So I'm just showing you. Look at this. That's why, Smash, these people have power. He understands, Orlando Brown understands there's an entertainment mafia, a government mafia, there are various factions of mafias out here. And look at him, man. Take a real good, you can see the torment and the spirits that are on this child. Go ahead, Kramer, run the video.
It's about Hollywood or some of the stuff that they see.
When I tell you I am Hollywood, I mean I literally am Hollywood.
Expand on that a little bit. What do you mean by you are Hollywood?
What do you mean I am Hollywood? Like what? Like you ever seen Babalu? Babalu.
Okay.
You know, yeah, Desi Arnaz, you know, Desi Arnaz.
Yep.
You know, Joe Jackson, right? You know who Joe Jackson is? Okay, cool. Yeah, my daddy owned all that shit. Every studio in Hollywood, every fucking block in Hollywood, anything you can fucking name in Hollywood belongs to Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz. So when it comes down to it, you know, not to disclose too much, but I will tell you, I am Hollywood. I'm their baby. You know what I'm saying? So some shit, I just can't be like telling. It's a lot of people that got fucked off behind trying to be where my mom and dad is at the top. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you got to just be real cool. Got to be real evil.
Okay, stop, y'all. Just stop. All right,
like
yo.
My daddy is Lucifer.
You know, he's saying a lot without saying it, if you're listening. He mentioned Desi Arnaz. Yeah, this goes back. Yeah, even Ricky Ricardo was on that. Lucille Ball, they were on that. Yeah. When he mentioned Joe Jackson, that's right. You wonder why Michael hated his father so much? See, before there was Orlando Brown, there was Michael Joseph Jackson. The things he saw, the things he experienced, where he took it upon himself in hating his father so much, he reconstructed his face. It wasn't about him wanting to be white. It's what his father subjected them to. Okay? It's all about, and so this kid, he knows. Like he said, I'm their baby. This young man was around things he had no business as a child seeing. Okay? I can remember seeing videos of, okay, I'm going to take y'all back almost 50 or more years ago when you had Brooke, former child star and actress, Brooke Shields. She was no more than 10 or 13 years old on the cover of Playboy magazine. For some of y'all that go back that far. I remember that vividly, like, yo, a child on the cover of Playboy, Hugh Hefner, Playboy magazine. But let white America tell you that R. Kelly is the face of child pedophilia. Man. So Orlando Brown, he's saying a lot without saying a lot. Run the tape, Karima.
Where my mom is God. You understand me? So I'm a very special case. They get so I can't put myself in position to be just like talking about people. Like people got smoked, people got kidnapped, a lot of people got fucked off behind Hollywood, bro. And they're dwelling right there. That's all I can tell you.
French Montana said something recently that was real interesting. I mean, it's not directly with Hollywood, but you know, it's about record labels. And he said the record labels are taking life insurance policies out on rappers. Mainly because it's more dangerous
I mean,
for rappers
I
nowadays?
mean, this is a touchy subject. I just, I'll give you this. You can willingly turn woman and have a bag, or you can do what I'm doing. You can willingly turn trans, or you can get in trouble and go to jail and get fucked up, and they do it to you forcefully because you fucked up and you didn't know what to do with your blessing. So out of those two ways, me sitting here in one piece is not easy. It's not easy at all. You have to be respectful. Like, can't be just like, oh yeah, you think I'm sitting here playing with people's lives, and these niggas got wives and shit, bro, and kids and shit. Yeah, what they did to me was fucked up. So I have the right to say whatever the fuck I want to say because they never thought I'd be able to say it. Okay, but when it comes down to just this industry and how people are willingly turning trans, turning female rapper just to get the bag, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I will tell you. Other than that, bro, all that shit is bullshit. All of it is bullshit. Ain't nobody
Let me
gonna
help you.
work no more.
Let me translate
Ain't nobody
when
gonna
you
fight
really
the
stop
devil.
it.
Ain't nobody gonna.
Now I'm gonna translate what he just said. What he's basically saying is, yeah, there are indeed murderous, how you say, enterprises within the within these record labels, indeed taking life insurance policies out on their artists because their artists are better, more, how you say, valuable dead than alive. That's what he's saying. He's also saying, and therefore, when these record labels and the entertainment mafia makes the Fleece Johnson proposition of, look, we like you, we want you, and we can do this the easy way or the hard way. Look what he said. If they willingly become trans, like this go back what Cat Williams said last year on Club Shay Shay. Listen, man. There are a lot of them out there that want to party, and you gotta tell them no. It ain't just Diddy, but you gotta willingly. And if you willingly go, everything will be smooth. You'll get your quote unquote blessings. So he's saying it's only, but he's talking in riddle and parable, and it's just a matter of you being able to break down what he's saying. He's confirming, yeah, these record label executives are indeed killing off these artists for the insurance money, because the policies are through the roof. I mean, I take you back to when before the attacks on the World Trade Center, you had a new owner named Joel Silverstein. About 6 to 8 months before the attack on the World Trade Center, he had took out insurance policies on Tower 1, 2, and 3 when he purchased it. He took out a whole new insurance policy, which quadrupled if the bill in the policy itself, if the buildings somehow came under some kind of destruction overall, he would receive an X amount of money. And sure enough, 8 months after that he took out that new insurance policy. Those buildings indeed were destroyed. Here it is now, all these musical artists throughout the years, just one by one, systematically dropping like flies. The common denominator, some of them came off the same record label. Now, I don't understand how, like, take for instance, out of Chicago, you may not be into the drill music, King Von. You had, who else? Lil Ty. I'm naming names you probably some of y'all don't even know who I'm talking about. Okay? But go look them up. They all, how do you explain these, most of those Chicago drill rappers, XXXTentacion, they were all on the same label, and they all, one by one, got gunned down. There is not that much coincidence in the world. So Orlando Brown is just dropping bombs and bullets without dropping bombs and bullets, saying it directly. It's just a matter of being able to interpret what he's saying. Go ahead, Karina. Let it rock.
Fight my daddy. Nobody want to fight my daddy. That, like real shit. I'm telling you, don't nobody want to fight. And I'm sitting there, I said, Dad, look at me. I'm fucked up. You better let these people go. Stop fucking with people. He's like, nah, nigga, I'm gonna fuck with you too. I'm like, nah, nigga, you can't. All right, fine then. Now it's down to love. Either you love me and leave me alone, leave me in the world alone, or give us all what we need and let us play. And that's where we're at right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just can't go back and forth about the industry and all that shit. It's just, it's bullshit. All of it's bullshit. If you can't stand up for yourself, if you can't speak for yourself, if you can't take what God's giving you and go through the battles of having a gift, a divine gift, then it shouldn't be for you. It should be taken from you. In Jesus' name.
Okay.
You think you're fine after a car accident until this happens.
Yeah. Translation, what he said on the last part is, listen, if you're not willing to go through the fire of being poor, being able to stay out and keep your integrity, then whatever gift the Lord has given you, like Christ said, if the salt has lost its flavor, it's only good to be stepped on and trodden underfoot. See, he's just saying, for those of you who ain't in this, stay out of this. You don't want no part of this. See, like I said, being poor, it sucks, and many people they're fearful of it. It's the hardships, the highs and the lows, but at the same time now, it's clear. Like the old adage goes, not all money is good money. So, let me see, we've got Orlando Brown, Corey Feldman. I guess I may have not sent the Elijah Wood video, but go to the story, see if you can find the story on Allison Mack, Karima. And now, I want y'all to hang out with me. I don't know what time zones y'all may be in. Some of y'all may be in an early time zone, but listen, if you plan on going out to that party or wherever you were going to go, cancel that. This is where you should be. Make your contribution and discussion here as we continue on with the conversation. Like I said, right now we're going through the whole Epstein and child pornography and pedophilia. The government shut down by your president and Elon Musk and Bill Gates and so on and so forth. And we hope that you're enjoying this eye-opening and riveting, in-your-face conversation. And let me see now, we're now entering our second hour. And like I said, on the hour, I'm going to go back out here and see who's talking. Oh. Let me see. Iron Man says, money rules and resets happen. Hope to preserve the fruit of my womb. And yes, cash does rule everything around us. Iron Man, you're right. It does. But this is where, you, I, and so many others, we show our integrity that we don't allow money to rule us. Okay? Sure. It's great to have money as a defense, but like the OJ said, money, 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 money. You know, some people do bad things for it. You know, or who else? There are other artists out there who made money, who made songs about money. You know, but when I look at DMX, when he talked about his deal with the devil on Damien, he met this dude named Damien who made promises to him. He gonna have trips across seas. He gonna go here. He gonna do this. He'll give him this. But he had to swear his right hand. Okay? And make a blood sacrifice here and there. What you willing to give up? See, we all have to understand, as we fight on in this world, we're an exception to the rule. As I said, when I got stepped 2 years ago and they propositioned me, I wisely said no. I'm still going through the poor, broken, lonely, and struggle. I'm still getting my daily bread, living hand to mouth. It ain't fun or easy, but I feel a whole lot better having my integrity and having my mental stability to a degree versus being out my mind and destroyed. All right? You said, Iron Man said, all my parties at the house now. Too grown. I hear you. Now, let's run this video. Check this out. I don't know if you guys used to watch Smallville back in the day. All right? But listen to this story. Go ahead, Karima.
Surrounded by cameras, Allison Mack made her way into a Brooklyn courthouse where she tearfully pleaded guilty to racketeering charges for her role in a sensational case involving a group whose leader has been accused of sex trafficking.
I can't form a rapport with my audience.
That's Keith Raniere, the head of NXIVM, which billed itself as a self-help group. He's explaining his philosophy on acting to Mack, who previously starred in the show Smallville. Her role in NXIVM was much different.
It's the most challenging thing I've ever done because
she was part of its secretive inner sorority, which, according to prosecutors, was part pyramid scheme, part sex cult. It was that segment of NXIVM that was the focus of an FBI investigation and a CBC podcast.
Many of them were branded on their body in a very painful ritual. And then, of course, these allegations that some of those women were being asked to perform free labor and also have these sexual encounters with Keith Raniere.
There's a lot of embarrassment, a lot of regret.
Sarah Edmondson, whose story was told throughout the podcast, set up NXIVM's Vancouver chapter.
It's not okay to carve someone else's initials into someone else's flesh.
But she left the group after being branded.
I'm glad that nobody else is getting into this because
Gabrielle Gendron wasn't part of NXIVM's inner circle, but she did pay thousands to take its courses and knew Mack well.
I'm grateful she took ownership of the wrong choices she made. The choices she made did negatively affect a lot of other people. And I think that must have been hard for her to really grasp that reality.
So much has already been said about NXIVM, but there will be more. 3 of its key players are slated to stand trial at the end of this month, which will give more insight into the group's inner workings. Briar Stewart, CBC News, Vancouver.
And okay. Now, that concludes that particular conversation in regards to pedophilia, the craziness, and the lunacy of this world that we've inherited. And we're going to now move on to our next topic and everything else. Let me see now. Let me see. Let me take a real good look. Let's see who's talking. Now, indigenous black man, all right, I agree. Riches can bring out all our vices and allow them to be played out. Now, I will admit this here, that sometimes too much of a good thing can be a problem. And if you lack the spiritual, intellectual, and emotional maturity to, how you say, handle money or handle anything that's given to you in the sense of responsibility, it could indeed be a problem. It really could. But, all right, here's what I'm going to do, right? Seventh answer, I thought I would have the stamina to continue on and rock out. But I'm in the midnight hour and I'm about to fall. I'm kind of getting drowsy. So, brothers and sisters, how about this? I'm going to come back. Okay, we're going to come back and we're going to do, I'm going to have to do a part 2 on this clockwork derangement. How about that, seventh answer? I hope that's fine with
I
you
want to
all.
play this last part because it's important to play the part of the
Okay.
brother got hung, and then we can go on from there. But we could just let the video play out and then end
Okay,
it.
bet. Okay,
You
so
ain't got
now if you haven't heard this case, all right, this is from September 14th, 2025. You haven't heard anything about it in the media. I only heard about it just recently myself. Demetrius Moore. Listen to this, y'all, and we're gonna come back maybe tomorrow, if God willing, if we got the stamina tomorrow in our weekend recap. Go ahead, Karina, play this video.
Yeah, we're
And yeah,
going with Troy Reed first.
who? Okay, sure. Go ahead. Go ahead.
At Delta State University in Cleveland, Mississippi, found hanging from a tree on campus. Local authorities, including the medical examiner, was quick, I mean super quick, to rule his death a suicide. But the family was not buying it. With the help of Colin Kaepernick and his organization, Know Your Rights Camp Autopsy Initiative, I broke the news earlier today with Krista Muhammad of the New Black Panther Party on my Willie D Live channel that the autopsy revealed Trey had a fractured skull in the back of his head. He had contusions. He had bruises on his back and buttocks, meaning that they stomped him, fam. They didn't just bust him in the back of the head and kill him. They stomped him. Now, you got a lot of uncivilized mutts out there who are mad at Colin Kaepernick, even more mad at him because they were mad at him when they first heard the news announced that he would pay for an autopsy. They were saying things like, because the investigation, the official investigation, had already ruled the death a suicide, that Colin Kaepernick should just leave it alone. The critics argued that Colin inserted himself into the case for publicity, suggesting that his involvement was an inflammatory move that cast undue suspicion on an official ruling. Now, why would we have undue suspicion on an official ruling? I mean, our elected officials and law enforcement and all these people, they're so honest. Why would anybody ever doubt them? Yeah, fam. Some of them accuse Colin Kaepernick of paying for the autopsy to stay relevant. It's Colin Kaepernick. He's in the history books. He's going to always be relevant, whether you like it or not, you uncivilized mutts. Yeah. See, what they're really mad about, fam, is that they couldn't just sweep that under the rug. Like, you ain't kill another black, hang another black. You sweep it under the rug. What are you poking around for, man? Leave us alone. Go back to the big city. Yeah. They also said that he was just trying to create controversy. Also, they said that he was fueling racial tensions. The critics argued that Colin Kaepernick's high-profile involvement and the history of racial violence in Mississippi would unnecessarily stoke racial tensions by suggesting a cover-up where authorities found no evidence of foul play. If Mississippi is
So in essence, okay.
I don't think Trey can hear you. Say his name. Say his name. Say his name.
Demont Trevion's family told me this was his first year at Delta State University, and he was excited to start a new chapter. But now his family says they're getting conflicting information from local authorities, and they want answers about the final moments of his life. Jones says just days before his death, Reed came home for Grenada Day and was full of joy and life.
I was in class and my mama had called me. She was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, why?" She was like, "Oh, they just heard that a black male guy was killed on campus." And then a couple minutes after that, I got an email from the school.
Here with his family, and he was joyful and loving as ever. And that's what he's been remembered for being a joyful, loving young man. And when he went back to Delta State University, he was this fun-loving person. And our question is, what happened?
Got to come together. We got to be together. There's too much narratives going on the internet about what happened and this, that, and the other. When there's not enough, people saying, hey, so we just got to come together and make something happen.
First question that comes out is, how was the statement foul play has been ruled out so soon when you just said a preliminary coroner's report hasn't even been ruled?
Take me to the King. I don't have much to bring. My heart is torn in pieces.
On Monday, September the 15th, 2025, in the small town of Cleveland, Mississippi, a chilling discovery was made on the campus of Delta State University. Now, right in the heart of the university grounds, the lifeless body of 21-year-old Trey Reed was found. That discovery would not only shock the local community, but would also spark a nationwide debate. What really happened to Trey Reed? Because his family would say that just days before his passing, he spent time with them, he seemed happy, and then he went back to the university. But you also have the student council president coming forward to say that just hours before Trey's body was discovered, he saw Trey involved in a heated argument. And then you have the authorities' perspective. Based on their preliminary investigation, at least from what the family is alleging, the authorities told them that they do not believe foul play was involved. Now, what supports that conclusion are
What's up, family? Trey Reed.
And there you have it. Imagine that. The world is mad at Colin Kaepernick for uncovering the truth, but don't worry. We're going to continue this conversation. All right, that's going to be a prelude. We're just giving you a prelude of what's coming on the heels of our next conversation as it continues. Okay, listen. It has been an absolute pleasure. You've been thoroughly informed by myself in the Seventh Answer as we now come into a landing on runway 12. We hope that you've enjoyed this conversation and it's going to continue talking about what's on your mind. We want you to get up off your duffs and check things out for yourself as always, because at the start and end of every day is going to always be your spiritual, intellectual, and emotional responsibility to make sure that everything that you hear here or anywhere else is actual factual. All right? So, like I said, we'll be back at you. Stay aware, stay vigilant, because our enemy, the devil, is out here seeking souls like a roaring lion. And again, we give our honor to the Lord in Christ, from whom all positive thoughts flow. I want to thank you all out here. Indigenous Black man, I am Manna, good night. Okay, Tyrone, Big Mississippi, I thank you. I thank, of course, Jay Snake the Great, Smash and Idol, Marquise, and everybody else out here in the convo section, the chat section. I thank you all for your contributions. Some of y'all had a little intense conversation of your own. And that's what always motivates us to continue to come here. So stand by. We're going to go on our next trip. We will indeed continue to cover the fallout of Trey Reed, but I'm going to also go into Demetrius Moore and Rania Lewis, the poor sister that was found dismembered and her remains put behind a wall by a K-boy. Okay, we're going to talk about that and a number of other issues. So, in parting, Seventh Answer, do you have any parting shots? Well, I'll say it for hit that
Like, share, yeah, like, share, subscribe, and thanks for tuning in.
And with that being said, in the spirit of our dearly departed brother Don Cornelius, okay, and this show, as we close out this week now, is again dedicated to the memory of our beautiful sister Joanne Chesimard, also known as Asata Shakur. And as we close out in the spirit of our dearly departed brother Don Cornelius, on the Hebrew tip, we always say, Shalom, peace, Ahab, love, and Napash, soul. And we are up out of here.
O-N-E-L-D-I-G-D-O-Y-Z. We be so fresh that them hoes can't see me. No stress, that's the wrong way to beat me. I smoke a lot of sex, that's the wrong way to PP. Please tell the judge, that's the wrong way to squeeze me. I need to get loose and the drugs make it easy. Guess you're too scared that we might see clearly. Open up your eyes in the nighttime, feel me. Pop one, pop two, Morpheus, man. Let me get the red and the blue pill. Generation X gon' flex to the base, kill. Move your damn body to the rhythm to the place. Feel, let the beat just speak to your feet till you're jigging in the streets and you really can't sleep. Give a fuck with the week like I ain't got no problems tonight. Pop one, pop two, Morpheus, man. Let me get the red and the blue pill. Generation X gon' flex to the base, kill. Move your damn body to the rhythm that the place feels. PITBOYZ, we be so fresh that them hoes can't see me. No stress, that's the wrong way to peep me. I smoke a lot of cess, that's the wrong way to PP. Please tell the judge, that's the wrong way to squeeze me. I need to get loose and the drugs make it easy. Guess they too scared that we might see clearly. Open up your eyes, no nighttime, feel me? Pop one, pop two, Morpheus, man. Let me get the red and the blue pill. Generation X gon' flex to the base, kill. Move your damn body to the rhythm of the place. Feel, let the beat just speak to your feet, till you're jigging in the streets and you really can't sleep. Give a fuck with a week like I ain't got no problems tonight. Pop one, pop two, Morpheus, man. Let me get the red and the blue bill. Generation X gon' flex to the base, kill. Move your damn body to the rhythm of the place. Feel.